Huh. Pick your hero. Or villain, I'm not judging.
I have mutant powers, and a little demonic magic too. My soul remains noble, as my sword stays bright.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Ah, my dear sweet Susan Storm.
It's Richards, Namor, as you are well aware.
Perhaps the two of us have been brought together here for a greater purpose.
Wow, are your motivations always as transparent as the battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1! All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Some things you just can't unsee. I got you! Come, my minion!
No worries.
Looks
Like the mission area is yours to capture now. The mission area is yours.
Odinson! Raise a toast in celebration.
Clearly you needed some help.
Heavy weapons, I'm love. Adding to your underworld honor. You're truly fit to be a queen, Susan.
Go have fun!
That was a total blindside. All eyes
You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
A feast for my crows!
I hate to admit it, Namor, but I'm going to miss you.
Feel the pull! Come, my minion!
Glory's almost yours.
A soldier like thou in hell. Enemies perfect.
Hey, behind us!
Never even saw me
I
coming.
got you!
We'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Us against the world! What am I? Invisible?
I am fairly
I climbed out of limbo. This is nothing.
I'm doing this my way.
I hate to admit it, Name.
Disappear!
Now I see them.
Control lost!
Catch. Good. Saves me.
That's you!
Tandy needs help. I'll be ship-shape in no time.
My soul is stubborn.
Hell unleashed!
A feast
I
for my
am
crows!
Asgard's might. Catch. Our adversaries gather.
The team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
I'm hungry.
Survive this!
Patient friends. God is with you.
Minion!
We'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
If you see my brother, tell him I miss him. I got you!
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Whatever bargain you think you struck with Loki, he will betray you.
That's hardly your concern, Odin's son.
Asgard is my concern.
Then you should worry about Loki, not me.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
A single punch.
No science can mask the stench of monstrous evil. The enemy is
Disappear! Us against the world! Us against the world!
Oh, there's some. Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now. They captured the mission area!
气贯长虹。
Clearly you needed some help.
weaken the rage of battle.
Let's take this area!
Asgard's might!
Ready to fight.
Back from limbo!
Control seized!
Even small victories are worth celebrating.
Come, my minion!
Uh-oh, it's vulnerable.
I got you covered. I got you! Just in time. Thanks. Come, my minion! Asgard is mine.
Heavy weapons.
An opportunity for combat.
You captured more than half of the missionaries.
I was in trouble.
Bad consequences.
My strength is back.
Survive. Disappear!
A feast for my crows! Behold their child!
A little hurt, please. Glory is almost yours! Against the world!
I was in trouble. Look at you fly!
Another epic victory! Big win! Another epic victory! Big win! You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
I have mutant powers, and a little demonic magic too. When things get tense, the dark child tends to come out.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Archer, I hope you don't plan to miss today.
Why would I plan to miss?
It's a little joke before battle. Never mind.
Battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Help get that vehicle to its destination.
Avengers Tower beckons you once more.
hard to solve a problem when the laws of nature and physics no longer apply.
Wait. Coming.
An exponential boost.
You rode the light.
Have soul sword. We'll travel. Ooh, I'm more dangerous.
You deserve far better than that.
I'm sorry.
Carve his own path, old man.
Survive this!
And I thought
My strength is back. Come, my minion!
Coming at you.
You're halfway there. Keep going.
Back from limbo! Survive this!
Almost there. Don't turn back now.
Ooh, I'm more dangerous.
that was embarrassing.
Enemy in front of us. Hurricane incoming. I can't.
My
believe
strength
we
is
lost
back.
Logan.
The vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Avengers Tower is our destination.
another soul.
Shall we?
Ooh, I'm more dangerous.
Berserker!
They're on your tail. You get a web, and you get a web, and you get a web.
Just another enemy ahead of me. I climbed out of limbo. This is nothing.
Kirby's mission must be completed without delay.
Bless the Helios.
You're not rid of me yet.
Get that vehicle moving again.
Tower, now.
The enemy has arrived.
Step aside.
Let's end this quick.
There's an Ankh here. Okay, this feels good.
I have complete faith in your ability to...
I didn't even use the short end.
Totem has been shattered.
I'm more dangerous.
Hurricane incoming.
This feels good.
You're halfway there. Keep going.
Hostiles coming in fast!
I'm doing this my
Stay away
way!
from these things when they're levitating.
This is all.
The supernatural threat is abated.
Almost there. Don't turn back now.
We will deliver you safely.
They're coming from behind.
Vehicle reached a checkpoint.
They must belong to Moon Knight.
Back from limbo!
I outnumber you. Render me a...
Magic is back!
Your powers are mine! Destination Avengers Tower. Move out. Shoot these ox whenever you find them.
Behold the god of thunder! The moon haunts you!
Magic is back!
Pleasure in that. But it had to be done.
I'm more dangerous. Stay away from these things when they're levitating.
I have destroyed Moon Knight's Ankh.
We must complete the program. No more delays.
Fear Magneto! You are in my debt now.
Here they come now. You are safe with us, Herbie.
I didn't think you had it in you, Richards.
My comrades.
That's it. Don't let anything stand in your way.
Now's my chance. My strength is back.
Hurricane incoming!
So close. This is your big chance.
A futile attempt. We've been discovered.
Your weapons are inadequate, Frank. You're not rid of me yet.
Another epic victory. Big win. You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
I have mutant powers, and a little demonic magic too.
Escape pod ready. Opening escape capsule.
Seconds before you attack. Get ready. The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
I was an ordinary mutant girl, until my soul got put through a demonic blender. Sniper, right there. This feels good. Just in time. Thanks.
I'll back you up.
I'll never trust magik.
Double KO!
Team play.
Gonna have fun.
You must look behind.
You call yourself a sniper? It's you and me again, old buddy. Don't mind
Enemy
me.
ahead of us.
I'm just dying. Welcome.
patch you up.
Widow's fight.
Help get that vehicle to its destination.
Essence beneath the surface.
He was the enemy of his own ideals.
Come, my minion.
You lost to me. Armor patch here. Hey up. Sniper. Just what this day needs.
Take a look behind you.
Keep going.
Behind me. I'm just dying.
We must deliver Noah's essence to the realm.
Fantastic!
The land shard. You're not rid of me yet. Plasma burst!
Get that vehicle moving again.
Hey, T! Enjoy the amplifier!
Born again!
Fast! Grace us with
Now's our chance to
victory!
finish Noah. Don't wait! Nice little pick-me-up.
Don't mind me. I'm just dying. You're welcome.
A feast for my crows! See that? Sniper.
Get that vehicle moving again.
Every little bit helps. Magic is back! Limbo! Take a look behind you.
A futile attempt.
Go have fun! The full team must not ascend.
Relay deployed.
I got you!
Man, I gotta make another beacon. I'll patch you up.
Sniper!
Watch my back. Once I purge the darkness. This time I need you.
This universe needs a different kind of protector.
New Richard, ready to help.
I have spied a sniper. Hunter. We must deliver Noah's essence to the realm below. Now I see them. Anyone working help?
I'll patch you up. Hey, idiots! Turn around!
A sniper. But where? Plasma burst! We must deliver Noah's essence to the realm below.
Vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
A sniper caught.
Hey, idiots! Turn around!
My crows!
Let me return the favor.
Am I invisible?
the Eye of Agamotto!
That's it! Don't let anything stand in your way.
If I ever get close.
So close! Here's your big chance!
We've got trouble.
Hey, Dee! Enjoy the amplifier! You guys ready to overthrow a king? Let's do this.
Shields up! Another epic victory! Big win!
Magik is my recommended character for players starting out as a melee duelist. Melee duelist is the hardest role to learn in the game. It requires a lot of understanding of all the different moving pieces within a team fight and requires you to understand how to safely move around the battlefield. Magik solves some of these problems because she has great mobility. Cliff, you bitch, Jeff, okay. And there's Luna Snow. Let's get her. Let's take her out. And her auto attack range is massive with his shield up. Aha. And a hi-ya. And got him. What is that from? And she's got some pretty easy combos. Oh, bad guys like ha. And a hi-ya. And I kick her, sir. Now on to her kit. Magik's basic attack is a 3 combos forward slash that's very slow but has some really long range. The hitbox on this thing is massive and it is really noticeable in combat. Most of the other dive characters have a very small hitbox for their attacks, and it's a lot harder to get their combos off. Her right click causes her to shoot out a small projectile out of her sword. This has a charge up mechanic that you can use to hold down and charge it up to maximum, shooting out a thing that does about double the damage of the base. There's 2 main situations to use this charge up ability. First, if you're getting absolutely denied entry into the enemy team, you might want to use this just to help your ranged DPS break through the wall that you can't break into yourself. The charge up attack can do a surprising amount of damage to enemies, not expecting a melee character to pump out that much ranged damage. The second situation would be if you found someone unawares. You can charge up this attack and unleash it on a target that wasn't ready for you to chunk their health before you finish the rest of your combo. This right click ability does do an animation cancel on your basic attack. So if you unleash a basic attack and the moment damage is registered, you right click, it will stop the rest of the initial attack animation and begin the right click animation, doing the next burst of damage very quickly. This can definitely help you take out targets in a much faster burst rather than waiting for the full swing duration of a basic attack into a second basic attack. Umbral Incursion is your E ability, and this is a straight line dash that if it intercepts a target, will knock the target up in the air and deal some damage to them. You can use this to get around the battlefield easily and get into the enemy lines a lot faster. If you are diving in, try and make sure that the very end of this dash does intercept a target to take advantage of that extra attack and knockup. After knocking the enemy up, you can easily follow this up with a sword attack or a right-click attack onto the target while they're in the air in front of you for an extra burst of damage. This dash gives the final part of your quick takeout of a target. If you're able to hit a target with a basic attack, then animation cancel into your right-click ability and then immediately hitting E, hitting them and knocking them up. Following that up with a final melee attack, you're able to wipe out squishy targets quickly and effectively. Her shift ability will open up a portal that she'll step through and appears a short distance away. During this time, she is invulnerable to damage, and after coming out, both her left-click and right-click abilities are empowered. Your left-click ability becomes Eldritch Whirl, which does a big AoE slash around you, and your right-click ability will become Demon's Rage, summoning a small little Quasit to help you battle your opponent. This does not set your regular right-click ability on cooldown and is its own separate interaction. Her ultimate ability, Darkchild, allows her to transform into a demonic visage. In this form, her attacks are slower but deal more damage and will hit in sets of 3. And then the demon does quite a bit more damage if it's summoned after the shift right-click. Don't Darkchild transformation in front of other players. It's really predictable and you're able to be wiped out rather quickly before you can do anything effectively. Try and use the Darkchild transformation while you're out of line of sight and then dive into the enemy lines and assassinate. Her passive, Limbo's Might, makes it so that when she deals damage, she gains temporary health. This bonus health pool can go above her maximum health and give her quite a bit of survivability. As long as she continues to be able to deal damage, she'll keep regenerating this even if she's taking an onslaught from the enemy team. This allows her to usually be able to wipe out a target before that target can take her out. Magik is the activator for the team-up dimensional shortcut with either Black Panther or Psylocke. This team-up ability gives those other 2 divers an option to be able to activate a new skill, which will teleport them backwards in time a short duration and then give them a small bit of bonus health. This will allow the divers to be a little bit more effective in their diving actions and be able to shrug off more of the damage they receive when they're trying to get to safety. We'll go over more about that ability in those characters' breakdowns, to try and convince those other 2 divers to be on your team when you're playing the Lady of Limbo. So playing Magik, you need to flow through the different styles of play. Try and find an opening where you can sneak down a side path and find your way towards the enemy back line. Dash quickly out towards your priority target and wipe them out in a series of fast attacks. Then assess the situation and see how the enemy team is reacting. If the enemy frontliners or other divers have noticed what you're doing and have turned on you, you're going to want to get out of there. Use your quick mobility and your ability to summon your small demon behind you so that enemies have to run through it, constantly taking damage and powering up your bonus health. If the enemy team didn't notice your dive, you'll move on to the next priority target in the back line, continuing your onslaught as you take out squishy targets that can't hold themselves up against you. In Darkchild mode, you're an absolute bulwark breaker. You can teleport into an entire enemy team and unleash massive amounts of damage, healing yourself for huge amounts of bonus health, and be able to absolutely melt targets. You aren't invincible in this mode, so try and make sure that you're able to get assistance from allied vanguards or supports while you're doing this, but you're definitely a devastating force to be reckoned with. Learning the basics of diving with Magik is a great way to learn the diver role effectively, and then moving on to more adept characters as you get better at the game. I hope this guide helped you get into the action as Magik. I'm Zesty Fresh with Saza Games, and we'll catch you guys next time. Sazaze.
This is going to be a fun one. Today I want to talk about Magik, the combos, the playstyle. What to do, how she works. And I want to be clear here why I'm doing these guides. They're for everyone, and my hopes that all skill levels can take something from them, from newer players to experienced ones. And most of us play with friends anyway. We all want to do better, and remember, top 500 tanks have top 500 support that has top 500 DPS helping them, and so on. Most of us, you just have your friends. We just want to have fun and do well. So let's learn and have some fun. And as I'm going through these hero guides, I'm going to be pointing out the most important part or parts of their kit. And as I go through things, I'm going to highlight them and say that. Like Groot, the most important part of Groot's kit is the Thornlash Walls. Magik's a brawler, an assassin, it's a high DPS burst hero. There's a lot to get into. Her passive is huge. It's going to tie everything up in the end. Combos need to be known and a lot more. So first I'm going to go through the abilities, then tie it all together. Magic's primary attack is the Soul Sword. Left click, right trigger controller. It deals 65 damage, and it does have damage fall off. So it deals max damage up to 4.5 meters. From 4.5 to 6.5, it deals half damage. So 32.5 per hit. Her base melee, V, or controller is right stick click in, it's a punch with a sword hilt. This is a big part of her combination, so get used to it. Incorporate it. It deals 35 damage. Well, it kind of alternates. It goes 35, then 34, then 35. It could also be a decimal number, like a half number, 34.5. So more on that later. Melees in general with magic, you need to know, have a massive hitbox. I mean, huge. This V melee, her regular melee, has about a 3.5-4 meter distance, but all you have to do is just look in your enemy's general vicinity. Like, look how far left and right you can be. That goes with her primary attack as well. You just have to be in the same zip code, so utilize it. Certain abilities, though, you do want to favor to the right. Her primary attack combo is 65 apiece, so 4 swings, 260 damage, but each swing has a 0.83 delay between each one. So ideally, you're going to melee cancel. When you're brawling or combo hunting, it's going to be just primary melee. Use your primary soul sword. Right after it hits, cancel it with animation for a melee. This right here is 100 damage, just back to back. Primary melee, 265. This is kind of a bread and butter thing. Maybe you're low on cooldowns, this is all you're going to have. Remember though, it does have damage fall off, so you do want to be close. Next, magic slash, right click, and on controller, it's left trigger. Strike forward and air slash. You just tap it, that throws it, or you can hold it to deal more damage. So if you just tap it, it does 45 damage at base, which is great. If you hold it the full duration, it does a max damage of 95. It takes 2 seconds to fully charge it, and anything in between, if you let it go, does an in between damage. Could be 80, 85, whatever. It's got a 6-second cooldown, and it's really good for opening combinations. It's really good in the middle of combinations. It's good for an enemy trying to get away. Maybe you can pick them off with it. And generally at a distance, it's just good for chip damage. Next, the Umbral Incursion, the uppercut, the dash. And I'm going to call it these things throughout the guide, mostly the dash for short. It's one of the most important parts of her kit. It's got the longest cooldown, 8 seconds. It goes out 16 meters, and with testing it, it deals 97 damage, so big damage. Remember how the camera works in this game. You want to be aiming on the right side of enemies. The projectile is technically her body. When you aim left, her body misses. So always be on the right side of midline, and you can be a little bit further than that. It's an opening attack, it's an escape. It's a big part of the kit. Then we get into limbo, the stepping discs. Another very important part of her kit. 2 charges, 6-second cooldown, shift, and its top left bumper for controller, jump through a stepping disc, teleporting a short distance in the direction of movement, become invincible while teleporting. So when an ult comes at you, it could be a Jeff ult, Iron Man, you have these invincible frames when doing the stepping disc. And it comes up clutch. Know it, use it. You can just bypass a lot of ults. It's got a 10-meter cast distance. It's directional. So once you press the button, you can come right back, do a 180. You can go directional to the bottom left, top right, wherever you want to go. After you use the disc, you have 3 seconds to do a special attack. Left click's going to be the whirl. It deals 45 damage. It's great for closing gaps. It's great for wide damage. Multiple enemy hits with distance. And on controller, it's right trigger. But then we have the other one, Demon's Rage. Right click, and on controller, it's left trigger. To me, one of the most important parts of the kit. It is awesome. The demon lasts for 4 seconds. It has 100 health. So you come out of the disc. As soon as you press the button for the demon, it comes from magic, like the center of magic. Not in front of her hand, like the center of you, the player model. It goes out 6.5 meters. 3 meters wide, 3 meters high. It deals 20 damage every 0.25 seconds. 80 damage a second. Useful for a number of things. Any tanks, since they're proper magic, like the center of magic. Not in front of her hand, 4 seconds. It has 100 health. So you come out of the disc. As soon as you press the button for the demon, it comes from magic, like the center of magic. Not in front of her hand, like the center of you, the player model. It goes out 6.5 meters. 3 meters wide, 3 meters high. It deals 20 damage every 0.25 seconds. 80 damage a second. Useful for a number of things. Any tanks, since her primary attack is a melee. It goes through shields. Strange shields, magneto shields, whatever. The sword does. Your V does. But so does this demon. It's technically coded as a melee, so it kind of doubles up on your damage. In frantic fights, about 80% of the time, this is what you're going to drop in frantic fights. If it's condensed, because the demon puts in work. As you're brawling, going in and out of limbo, using the discs, drop the demon after, continue your combos. But the demon's also very useful for a number of things, like Penny's spider nest. You can go in, find it, disc into it, drop a demon, disc out, the demon's going to take it out. Something like Moon Knight's Unk, and it's literally right outside of your melee range. But you could step in for a second, it's got a 6.5 meter distance, drop the demon on it, and get out, it's going to destroy it. Anything like this. Maybe you're fighting a Groot, they throw up a wall, it's hurting you. You could drop a demon on it, it's going to take out the wall. Punisher in a turret, the demon's going to deal damage to the Punisher and the turret. Ideally, you're not going to place it right in front, because he's just going to shoot the demon, maybe off to the side. It puts a lot of pressure. For Loki's Regen Domain, you have to look up and angle the demon, but it takes out the runestone no problem. I feel the demon's invaluable, really. And all of this is kind of getting molded and tied together with her passive, Limbo's Might. Convert damage inflicted on enemies into bonus health to herself. So the max bonus health is 150 hit points. She has 250, so max of 400. It's got a 30% conversion rate on the damage that you deal into health that you get back. So if you land damage on, let's say, a one-shot target like this Luna, you only get like 2, 3, or 4. But for all these abilities, I do want to show you how much health that you get per hit. The primary attack gives you 23 health. The base melee gives you 11. Umbral Incursion, that dash uppercut, 30. The slash, which is the throw, at no charge, 17 health. 32 health at full charge. With the stepping disc, the whirl, when the whirl gets a hit, 16 health. And then the demon, 7 health per hit every 0.25 seconds. So 28 a second. And if it's there for the entire duration, the demon alone can give you 111 total health on top of the damage that it's doing and that you're doing to targets. So when you get on a front line, or maybe there's a shield in front of you, I keep using Doctor Strange and Magneto, or you're just in the thick of it, drop these demons out. They're going to get tags. If they just get a couple, that's 14 health here, 21 there. You're going to be doing damage with your sword and your uppercut. That's a 23 bump, a 30 bump. And even if you just get one demon hit with one primary attack, that's 30 extra health. And you're going to be getting a lot more. It's not going to stop there, because then you're getting into combos. And once you complete a full combo, there's a certain amount of health that you're going to get. Now, I'm not going to go over the total health for every combination, just the first one here, but know that it's working in the background. It's great. She's got a ton of them, a ton. And most of the time, they're interchangeable. One could be before the other, so on. But some of the main ones, let's start up close, then move back a little bit. So right on an enemy, primary attack, melee, dash, primary attack, melee. Now, you may or may not need that extra melee at the end. Just make it a habit of doing so. But lower health, like let's say Moon Knight, you don't need that extra melee, but you get up to, let's say, a Black Panther, 300 health, you need it. So again, just make it a habit of throwing that melee right after, and you're always going to be doing that. Anytime you primary, just throw the sword hilt melee right after. And health-wise, primary, melee, dash, primary is 87 bonus health that you've gained. So some of the time, it's negating the damage that you took getting in there, if that makes sense. And you can keep adding on to it, of course. Primary, melee, dash, primary, melee. Next, let's throw in the slash, the sword throw, and a couple ways to go about it. Primary, melee, slash, dash, primary. It's starting off with that red damage that you took getting in there, if that makes sense. And you can keep adding on to it, of course. Primary, melee, dash, primary, melee. Next, let's throw in the slash, the sword throw, and a couple ways to go about it. Primary, melee, slash, dash, primary. It's starting off with that bread and butter thing, primary, melee. That animation cancels into the slash, then you animation cancel that into the dash, and then primary. It's just another great fast combination. And you can also use it if you don't have the dash cooldown. It would just be primary, melee, slash, primary, melee. And as you can see, it leaves Luna just one shot. But again, a DPS target, like let's say a Moon Knight, Winter Soldier, it's going to take him out. You can still do a lot without having a cooldown. You just want to throw them in the right order. You want to do the animation cancel in the right way. This is one of those ways. Next, let's talk about you can actually start with that sword throw. This is a very deadly one. Slash, dash, primary. Another bread and butter one. And you're going to notice that if you just tap the throw and do the combination, you're going to leave them with just a little health. If you charge it just for a split second, and depending on the target, again, from Moon Knight to Luna to Black Panther, the more you're going to need to hold it. That's going to kind of dictate if you're going to get the one-shot kill or not, or close to it. And with something like this, the primary and the dash can be interchangeable. So instead of going slash dash primary, you go slash primary dash primary, if that makes sense. Again, they're interchangeable. But when you're doing all this, because you don't know if they're getting healed, you don't know if they're going to pop in some DR one way or another, just always follow up with a melee. Primary, melee, always. And with this combination, what's nice, even if you're right on top of them, you can charge that thing right in their face. You don't have to be far away. But you do have the option to be far away. Because remember, that dash has a 16-meter distance. You can line up your shot, charge it, throw that sword, dash in, primary melee from a distance, do some assassinations. Really, really good. Next, we're going to get into using the stepping disc. One of my favorites. The disc has a little distance to it when you use it. You also have the dash distance. In total, this can cover about 30 meters. If you want to single out a target, you can. and I have a couple clips in the background of me doing that. You do the stepping disc, you do the whirl, and then you dash after. So you start the disc for a distance, you have that 3-second timer, you can run forward a little bit, use the twirl to gain even more distance, and right after that twirl, you have a little momentum, hit the dash after. You cover all that ground into your uppercut, and you still have the slash to throw, you still have your basic primary melee combination. Really, really good. Again, one of my favorites. Because say I do want to focus the support, like an Adam Warlock, I can get on them with this combination. I'll come from across the room to focus them, just using the stepping disc and the whirl as a tool to get into that uppercut on them. And at a distance, you can also lead with the sword throw. I mean, this is using a lot of your abilities. It's all situation dependent, but you can charge up that sword, throw it, do the stepping disc, whirl combination to the uppercut. Very, very good. Next, using the disc in your combinations. First off, every single one that we've went over can have the disc in the middle of it or the end of it. It's all cooldown dependent. So maybe you're 3 seconds away from your uppercut, the dash. You need to buy a little time, or maybe you want to throw in the disc to throw them off a little bit. Maybe you use the uppercut, do a bread and butter combination. At the end of it, do a stepping disc in a direction, come back in with a whirl. Same goes. What I mostly do is I go back in with a demon. Again, I use the demon a good amount of the time. In a big case scenario, it's tanks. Maybe I'm on defense, they're pushing up. When you go in for a tank, any basic combo is not going to down them. Your longevity comes from burst damage from the demon, landing those hits, getting the extra bonus health, and hopefully having an out, whether that be a stepping disc or a dash. But on these tanks and in these frantic hill or payload battles, end it with a disc demon, place it around them, push them back, or you can play around it. And the demons have 100 health, so you can place it in front of you, play around. It's going to take aggro, it's going to take the 100 damage before it gets to you. But for me, and a good tip, anytime you're in the thick of it, especially versus a tank, get the demon out there. Because remember, when it gets hits, it's giving you health, and it's dealing good damage. And you can still use the disc and whirl to get away if you need to, or if you want to focus in on something or do wide damage, you still have the whirl. Magic's highly dependent on your positioning, your decisions, and your cooldown management. All of those are tricky parts, but it's also knowing your limitations, how much health you're getting per combo, things like that. And finally, we have our ultimate Dark Child. Transform into Dark Child, gaining enhancements to all of her abilities. More damage, more distance. She can now hit up to 10 meters, but of course this is going to have fall off. It's more like 6.5, 7. Normal range, you're going to do full damage. A primary attack does 3 hits, 40, 30, 40 for 110. The dash, that uppercut, deals 132 damage. The sword throw, the slash, if you just tap it, 103. If you do the max charge, you hold it the full duration, it does a massive 207 damage. With the stepping disc, the whirl does 3 hits for 110. It's literally the same exact as a primary attack. The demon, it's a bigger demon, it deals 28 damage per hit. It just melts. And since it's hitting 3 at a time, or if it's getting fast demon damage, you're getting a ton of health from her ult per hit. And the whirl coming out of the disc and your primary attack do the same exact amount of damage, 110, 40, 30, 40. The whirl is best for multiple enemies. So if you honestly just want to get in your ult, do a disc and do the whirl, disc, whirl, that's fine. If you want to focus something down, use the primary attack on them. You can focus supports if you want, doing similar combos like stepping disc, whirl, uppercut. It's just going to end them a lot quicker. One of my favorites is actually using it on the front line. Again, the tanks, Magneto, because all of her attacks go through the shields. You can get in there, do a big whirl or a primary slash, do the 3 hits, place a demon. When we've talked about it, it just chunks even faster. So you can melt their tanks, get them out of the way. There's no wrong way to use it though. It's her base things and combos, but they're heavily enhanced. Do a whirl into a dash, do a dash primary, it ends them quick. But in conclusion, Magic overall, a great character. There's a ton to learn. There's a ton to master, and there's still a lot more info on her out there. But knowing the base kit, some of the combinations is the foundation. So gather as much information as you can, take what you want, leave what you want. But again, hopefully this guide gives you a good foundation to start. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, I really appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Let's talk about Magic down below, and of course, any tips you want to add in. Thank you for watching, and until the next one,
The best DPS player in the world right now mains Magic and Marvel Rivals, so I took the time to watch his games and study everything he does and why he does it. And I've learned an absolute ton about this character. Since watching so many of his games, I've started playing Magic, and not only have I gotten good on her, I realized that she's probably the most fun character I've played so far in this game. I don't want to waste your guys' time, so let's jump right into this. But before I do, I quickly ask if you could leave a like on this video. I want to try and get this video to 1,000 likes, so if we do, thank you guys so much. Anyways, let's begin with something very important I've seen on her, and it's so important it's the first thing I want to teach you. First, go to your settings and make sure your melee is bound to an easy button for you to use. The reason for that is because, believe it or not, we're going to be using our melee button on this melee character. But the reason for that is because her melee is a different animation than her normal sword swing. This means we can cancel her main attack animation with another hit. To do this, all you have to do is use your main fire, then click your melee button. Don't do it too quickly or you'll just straight up cancel your swing. Just give it half a second and then click your melee, and you can cancel the animation and get more damage out. The reason this is important is because when you play her, you'll notice her swings have a long wind-up time in between. If you saw my Doctor Strange video, you'll notice it's the same thing here. There's no drawback to this, and we're putting out more damage. And especially when you get someone to 1 HP and you can't get that second swing in time, this melee cancel will help you get that kill before they can escape. Now that I've shown that to you, there are 2 combos I've seen the top player use. One is a kill combo that's fairly easy to do, and the other he uses is a bit more difficult and uses up a lot of your abilities. When you hear that, you definitely think, why bother using the second one? But that's because in his elo, he basically has to do it to secure his kills. Players in the top rank are way less forgiving, and if you give them that second to heal or escape, they'll use it. You probably won't have to worry about this as much because, I mean, I'm in Diamond and I don't even have to do this, but on the off chance you do, I'll show you how to do both these combos. It's also probably just good if you know both if you want to want to take this character seriously. Let's start with the easy combo first. I'm also going to tell you now, as I'm going over the combos, I'm going to be explaining the abilities. I don't want to just talk about the abilities, I want you guys to actually understand what you're doing. So for this first combo, we use our ability Magic Slash. This is our alt fire and has a damage condition, and that's how long you wind up her swing. The longer you charge it up, the more damage it'll do. Obviously, we don't want to be standing out in the open while we're charging this up, so it's best to charge it behind cover and then pop out and use it. It's also good to know this has no damage fall off or max range on it. You can fire this from basically max distance and it will still land. So if you're far from a fight and you still want to get there, throw this in and you can help your team. But back to the combo. So now that we know the first step is Magic Slash, well, your next step is going to be your Umbriel Incursion. This ability is a launcher, so it's meant to be used with a combo and another swing. Let me explain this ability real quick so you understand the advanced parts to it, because you'll get this ability to land way more once you understand. The first thing I want to explain here is the camera position on your character. Notice how magic is off center and the sword is a little bit more under your reticle. When we use her dash, it's important to know this, because aiming to the right of your target gives us a bigger success chance to land, while aiming to the left has a way bigger window of missing. It's okay if you miss this ability a lot in the beginning when you're learning her. I did too. The dash can kind of be hard to land sometimes. I mean, honestly, this dash not landing was making me consider maybe I shouldn't even bother playing her. But once I found out aiming to the right has a way bigger success chance, I became so much better at playing magic. Also, this dash has a max range of 15 meters, so keep that in mind that you need to be somewhat close to use it. And also, don't be too afraid to use it just to get the hell out of there. I do that a lot, and so does the top player. Now that I've really explained her two abilities to you, let's put it all together. So for this combo, we start with a fully charged slash, then we close the distance with a dash, and once you've launched up the target, hit them with your main fire. And this is a kill combo, and if you're targeting the supports, which is what you should be doing, this will kill almost every time, especially if it's a one-on-one and you're alone with them. But let's say you have a target like Wolverine who has slightly more health, or they're just buffed up a little bit. That's when we can add the animation cancel I showed you in the beginning of the video. So we do a fully charged slash, then our dash, and then we get a full swing off in midair, and then we just do the melee cancel. And once you've got that down, it's honestly pretty easy to start assassinating people with this character. And on that same topic of assassinating, before I get into our harder combo, let me explain this. On Magic, there's two playstyles for her. The first one is if your team has two tanks and you're going to have a lot more freedom. You're going to be able to hit the sides of the fight and target the supports in the back, and this gives you so much more freedom to get back there and do your job, because a lot of the attention is on the front line of the fight. Just know that when you're doing this, you need to be playing the health packs. Don't rely on your supports to heal you, because you're not going to be with them. You just need to try and remember the routes to the nearest health packs. Also remember that your kit is basically designed for you to get a kill on a support and run out. Don't try and stay in a fight too long or you'll just die. Once you've killed a support 1 or 2 times in a game, you're starting to change the way the other team plays, and they'll be watching for you and thinking about you way more, and it'll make them mess up more. I mean, that is as long as the rest of your team is doing their job. The other way you have to play her is if there's one tank, and this causes Magic to be way less effective, because now you kind of have to act as a second tank. It kind of depends on the team, but in my rank game so far, when we only have one tank, I have to kind of be more in the front line and help out more, especially when we have way too many dive characters. They start watching for the dive, and it makes it kind of hard to pull off on this character. I hope that wasn't too confusing, but in case it is, just drop me a like. With that out the way, let's talk about her second combo, which will cover her last ability I haven't really talked about yet. This is called Stepping Discs. This ability applies an invulnerability time on you, where you can't be damaged, and it's really good for escaping with this. On top of that, you get either a split choice of using a massive AoE spinning attack, or a small demon that you can use to hold a door for you. But for the combo, we're going to be using the AoE attack. So I want to cover Demon Rage first, because this move is honestly great. Once you're out of your stepping disc, you have 3 seconds to choose. So what I do when I'm trying to escape is prop this up on a door or my falling route in case someone is chasing me, and it'll let me know if they're coming, or it'll put out a lot of damage on them. I also use this in team fights because it puts out a lot of damage, and it can kind of get missed and everything going on, but the damage this does on tanks is massive.
And do you know what else is massive?
Her spinning attack isn't great for damage, but great when the other team is clustered up together and they have someone one-shot. And it's also good for this combo. So the way this works is the combo starts with a stepping disc instead of a sword slash. During that 3-second timer after you use a stepping disc, you have to click your whirl attack and then dash immediately after. This will cause an animation where you're doing both at the same time, and it will still give you the launcher ability for this combo. While in air, give them a full sword swing and then follow it up with a non-charged magic slash. I'll explain that again a little slower and in parts. Especially if you're playing along with me while doing this, I'll make this easy for you. Also, if you're playing along with me and you're in the practice range, make sure you go to practice settings and turn off ability cooldowns because this will help you practice a lot better. So let's start with this combo. So first, use stepping disc, and while you have this timer up, use your whirl attack and then immediately dash. It sounds hard, but trust me, it's not that bad. If you can't get the timing right, just say 1, 2 like that, because that's the cadence for the button clicks. You whirl attack, then dash. 1, 2. If you got that down, the next part is very simple. You just do your main attack swing and follow it up with a slash. You can also follow it up with a melee instead of the slash, but honestly, if you want it the way the pro does it, it's just with the slash. I think it's smarter to use the melee so you don't have to waste your slash ability, but the slash does slightly more damage, so it's more reliable for the kill if you want to use the slash. I get it. The reason I don't like using this combo is because it drains all your abilities and leaves you with one stepping disc out, but I definitely understand why it's forced to use this ability, and it also doesn't rely on you hitting a fully charged night slash. It's definitely good to know both these if you want to take this character seriously, and depending on the player, one might be easier than the other for you. Let's start talking about the other stuff with this character, like her passive. Limbo's Might gives you bonus health when you hit an enemy. People say this makes her a brawler, but honestly, when you're not in your ult, the health you gain back really isn't enough to mitigate the incoming damage, so I don't know. As for ult, the first thing you should know is that all cooldowns are immediately restored. So either use all your abilities and put out a lot of damage before using your ult to get your abilities back, or just get high ground or to cover by using your dash and then ult. Also, don't use your ult out in the open, just use it in cover because you can get killed when you're turning into demon form. And while you're in your ult, the main ability you want to use is your whirl. It has so much range it's ridiculous and does a ton of group damage. Once you use one stepping disc, your next comes back so fast it really makes you difficult to hit while you're in her ult. Try and mix up some main attacks while you're in her ult too, because those do a ton of damage, but that should pretty much cover everything on magic for you for the most part. Just make sure when you're playing her, you're using your kill combos to take out the supports in the back line. Your stats might not be the best at the end of the game when you're playing her, but killing the supports is the difference between winning and losing games. I hope I helped you guys learn magic. If you have any questions for me, leave them down below in the comments. Also, comment sword if you made it this far in the video so
If you want to learn the most effective combo to do as magic right now, try this. This combo is going to help you take out literally any supported Marvel rivals in one go. And we'll start with the easy combo. We'll get harder later in the video, but for the easy combo, this is a fully charged magic slash, followed by the Umbreal Incursion, followed by the main fire, then a melee cancel. On controller, it's going to be holding LT, pressing RB, pressing RT, and then clicking the right stick in. On keyboard, this is holding right click, then pressing E, then left click, then V. As said, this works on any strategist, and don't worry, I will be breaking this down step by step. It works on Lunar Snow, it works on Adam Warlock. So try these and you will take them out in one single combo, which is amazing. So let me break it down and show you step by step of this combo. So first, this is the charge attack, and what I recommend doing is charging your attack out of sight. So make sure you have cover while you charge it up, because it is quite a long charge on this. So fully charge it before you wade in and you will get that KO. But we do need the other parts of this combo to land, and the next one is the dash. So if you aim to the left of a character, you will miss. Even if you're right up close, your crosshairs right up close to their head, you will miss. So that's what happens when you aim to the left. Aim to the right, however, and you will hit them. This is due to the way the camera works in Marvel Rivals. As you can see, the character is not in the center of the screen. They are slightly off to the left, which means when you aim, you have to be slightly off center. It's not actually perfect. So if you aim to the right, you will land 50% of the time more than if you aim to the left. It just works that way. So that is how you land the dash more regularly. Okay, now let's move on to the melee cancel portion of this combo. And this works on keyboard and controller, but I'm going to show you on controller. So as you can see, the standard RT attack takes 4 slow swings, but we can actually cancel it to get that attack off quicker. So as soon as you press RT, follow that up with a click of the right stick in, and it's much quicker. So on the right is the quicker one. And as you can see, that DPS comes out quicker, and it, saves a few microseconds, but every second counts in this game. So I'll show you again. That's the cancel. Much quicker than the standard 4 swings of the sword. So that's the melee cancel. Anyway, here is the projectile attack. Do not forget that your charged attack, the way you start this combo off, can be used as a projectile attack, and the range on this is insane. The only downside is that it does take 5 seconds to recharge, so it's not like you can just keep spamming this, but you can be across the map while you use your projectile attack. So again, that's just holding LT and then unleashing. That's the first combo. Let's move things up a notch to the second combo, which takes a bit more skill, and this all starts after you use the stepping discs. So after you use the stepping discs, you will see on the right-hand side of the screen screen, it says Eldritch Whirl, and this happens when you press RT. After you've come out of your stepping disc, press RT, and you can use this spinning attack. However, you actually get 3 seconds in which to use this. You don't have to use it immediately. You have 3 seconds to line up your shot before using your Eldritch Whirl. This can be used to get around the backhand side of your target, or you can use it straight away. It's totally up to you. So after you use your Eldritch Whirl, follow this up with your launching attack. As you can see, launch them up in the air, then use your RT, and then melee cancel again. It's using part of the first combo we used. We're actually incorporating that into our Eldritch Whirl. Also, what you can do, as you use your stepping disc, hold RT immediately after you use it, and when you come out of your portal, you will actually do a melee attack straight away. Again, use your stepping disc and then immediately hold RT, and as soon as you come out of your portal, you will start using your melee attack straight away. It's a really good way to take your opponents off guard. Let's talk the all-important ultimate now, and for Magic, this is basically just a buff to your attacks. Your spinning attacks, your launchers, they all function the same, but they just do more damage. And for me, the one I like to rely on is the Eldritch Whirl. In your ultimate form, use your stepping discs, and then use your Eldritch Whirl, and you will do a lot more attacks. Again, it's not good on the Hulk, so don't go after tanks as Magic, go after strategists, but I'm going to tell you a bit about how you should play Magic after I've shown you these moves. So yeah, Black Panther, it works. Your ultimate is good. It's not the best, but the good thing is you don't have to learn different combos in your ultimate form. The same combos you've been using will work, they will just work slightly better. Let's move on to my favorite Magic combo, and this is basically an extension of the previous combo. Again, use your stepping disc, then use your Eldritch Whirl, and use your launcher, that's on RB. Then use your main attack, use your melee, just like before, but we're going to add on a Magic Slash, which is on LT, and then use your main attack on RT, and then melee again. That sounds complicated, but it's really just adding on a few extra moves to the original combo. This is honestly pretty hard to hit consistently. It's not something you're going to hit all the time, but it's good to try out. Now, before we get to a match, let me just show you something else that I really like about Magic, and that is her passive. Every time you hit someone, you actually regain HP. Hit someone and you will regain your health. Now, this isn't going to be something you're going to build your entire play around in your strategy. It's just nice to have that health coming back, so you don't always have to rely on picking up health kits or, getting someone else to heal you. If you attack someone, you get your health back, and that is passive, and it's really good. So what's the best way to play Magic in a match? Well, the best way is to use her to creep behind enemy lines and isolate other opponents. Magic is not a frontline fighter. Your stepping discs are basically all about getting behind enemy lines, taking out someone, and then teleporting yourself to safety. And I do think that teleport needs more emphasis. You can pretty much avoid anything in the game with your teleport. Iron Man's ultimate, Scarlet Witch's ultimate, you can avoid them all using that teleport. There are no immunity frames on the teleport though, so you can be caught coming in and out. It's just really good to use because you can totally avoid area of effect attacks. I also recommend going into the settings for Magic and binding your melee key for easy access. On controller, I'm just playing by clicking the right stick in for the melee, but if you're playing on keyboard, it might be an idea to bind that to another key that you have better access to. Now, a few things to be aware of with Magic. She does have a few drawbacks. You are looking at a hero with a low health pool of 250 HP, and she loses her 15% bonus damage at the end of the season. So she has a 15% bonus damage active right now, but she will actually decrease in damage at the end of the season when that disappears. She also requires high precision to hit her combos, and she has a high cooldown as well. So essentially, she has a small payout for lots of effort, while other heroes have large payouts for less effort. So that is something you'll need to be aware of with Magic. She's not this incredible hero that needs nerfing. She's not broken or anything. If anything, I'd say she needs a buff. And for me, that buff needs to go to her health and maybe her attack speed. As mentioned, Magic has to rely on an extremely precise dash for these combos. The dash doesn't stun either, so you have to ensure you do not miss. It's just really hard to secure a KO with Magic. The sword swing is slow and it does have a long cooldown. Stepping discs, as mentioned, they don't shield you coming in or out, and even your ultimate has no immunity frame, so a Hawkeye can one-tap Magic during that transformation if he gets the headshot, which, isn't all that great. The ult also does put a target on your back. It doesn't give you any extra HP, and the sword swings are still pretty slow, but you don't always have to play it like an assassin, sneaking around, isolating characters, and trying to KO them. What you can do is just go around disrupting people and dealing damage. A lot of players are having success just disrupting enemy teams, holding them off, while other teammates clean up. But for me, it's just there's such a focus on healing in this game that just disrupting people sometimes can feel like a waste of time. I really do like to secure those KOs, and that's hard with Magik because just like a lot of things with her need to go right in order to get those KOs. You need to hit every step of that combo, you need to make sure no other characters are getting involved, and there is a large skill demand to actually master Magik. Psylocke and Black Panther, they both have better mobility and more consistent damage output. I can see the devs buffing Magik though, especially after she loses the 15% damage boost at the end of the season, so I think it's going to be really rewarding to learn how she works in the long run, and you might as well, because getting those KOs with Magik, using those combos, I'm still having a lot of fun. Just to sum up, Magik works best in 1v1s. She is an isolator, sneaking around, taking people out, teleporting away, and just having fun. Anyway, comment Magik below if you got this far in the video, and let me know if there's any other tips for Magik you found that I didn't mention in this video. Comment your top Magik tip, because I would love to know if there's any other way you can try a different tactic with this hero. Thanks so much for watching, subscribe to the channel for more Marvel Rivals guides, and have a great rest of your day.
The aunt's gone.
Let's find out. What are you gonna do, huh? Bitch! You know the rules. No powers in here. And definitely no fighting. Sorry, Doctor. I thought maybe the ending was invincible. Let me show you mine.
Something's happening to me, and I can't control it.
Limbo. The place we made up.
Oh, seriously?
Soon be limbo.
Where the hell did you go?
Their special place. Take Danny to a safe place, and I'll take care of this bear. Zoom in limbo omnipotence! I'm going to play with it. Get her out of here.
You crazy? That thing will kill you!
He's right, it's magic.
So am I.
Hey, Yogi!
Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Right, Lockheed?
Hold!
You okay, Lockheed?
Come back, you coward! Hey, don't let me feel Demon bear!
Nowhere to run now.
Watch out!
In this video, you'll learn everything you need to know about one of Marvel's fan favorite mystic mutants, Illyana Rasputin, aka Magik. Magik's early years. Before she became the notable superhero known as Magik, this magical mutant was born as Illyana Nikolaevna Rasputina to a humble family of farmers in the Soviet Union. Specifically, Illyana and her family lived in Siberia at a place called the Ust-Ordensky Collective. She had two brothers, both of whom also happened to have the X gene residing in their veins. There's Pyotr Rasputin, who you probably already know as the legendary X-Men Colossus, and then there was Mikhail, who would later go on to become a cosmonaut and a supervillain in the Marvel Universe. In fact, Ilyana was present when Professor X visited their homestead and ultimately recruited their brother to become a part of his mutant super team. Eventually, Ilyana's otherwise peaceful life would be turned upside down when the villainous Miss Locke kidnapped and held her hostage in order to get to the X-Men. Being a good big bro, Colossus and the other mutants under Professor Xavier's command managed to rescue Ilyana and her fellow hostages. From there, Ilyana would find herself expatriated to the United States under her brother's advice for fear that the Russian government would use her as a tool should she come back to their motherland. Oh, in case you were wondering how she learned English back then, well, suffice it to say that she didn't take any lessons. Instead, Professor X just poked inside her brain and pretty much gave her the ability to become fluent in English. Eventually, Ilyana would find herself kidnapped yet again. This time, the evil sorcerer Belasco captured the young girl and took her to the Limbo Dimension, the same place that would one day become Ilyana's very own stomping ground. And believe us when we say that Ilyana had it rough when she was first in Limbo. For one, she was a 6-year-old trapped in an extremely foreign land. For another, Belasco pretty much had a thing for her, prompting the evil mystic to transmute a part of Ilyana's soul into a magical artifact called a bloodstone. To make matters worse, Ilyana had to suffer through regular beatings from one of Belasco's servants. On the bright side though, a couple of superheroes named Storm and Cat managed to rescue the little girl after some time. These two heroes happened to be a couple of X-Men from one of Marvel's many alternate universes. From there, Storm acted as a mentor to Ilyana, teaching her in the ways of magic. On the other hand, Cat taught the young mutant about good old-fashioned close quarters combat. But her trials didn't end there. Belasco pursued them and eventually managed to take control of Cat and turn her into one of his minions. He also revealed that the reason he was so obsessed with Ilyana was because Belasco was aiming to use her soul to create more bloodstones that would ultimately summon the Dark Elder gods of the Marvel Universe. It all came to a head when Ilyana and Storm had to confront Belasco and Cat. Ilyana would end up taking out Cat, and to make matters worse, the young girl was also forced to end Storm's life with her own hands to prevent Belasco's plans from coming to fruition. Along the way, Ilyana was able to unlock her mutant abilities, which is the power to open interdimensional gateways. After that, Ilyana was able to escape to her home dimension, but she had an axe to grind. So Ilyana used her powers again to go back to Limbo and put a permanent end to Belasco's reign of terror. It was during this time that Ilyana was able to first manifest her trademark weapon, the Soul Sword, by applying magic to her own life force. She used this same weapon to take out Belasco for good. And when all was said and done, Ilyana found out that although it seemed like she had been in Limbo for years, only a few minutes had passed on Earth during her absence. Her stay in Limbo caused her to age rapidly, going from an innocent 6-year-old girl to a world-weary teenager by the time she got back to her homeworld. Magik becomes a new mutant. Ilyana would continue to live at Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, where she continued her academics and eventually became a part of the professor's newest team, the New Mutants, where she took on the codename Magik. It was during this time that Ilyana discovered that Limbo had a significant effect on her. Mainly, she discovered that although she was able to perform feats of magic and mysticism on Earth, her powers were greatly reduced compared to when she used her abilities inside Limbo. On top of that, we find out that at this point, Ilyana's continued use of her magical abilities influenced her own mind, turning her evil the more she employed them. It got so bad that Ilyana had to hide this fact from the rest of her New Mutants teammates and the rest of the Xavier School. But she was ultimately found out when Ilyana had to rely on her mystical abilities to fight off creatures known as dire wraiths during one of her adventures with the Children of the Atom. Eventually, Belasco would return and attempt to kidnap Ilyana again. This time, he sent the same minion who he tasked with torturing Ilyana when she first arrived in Limbo, a demon named Sim. Well, Sim was way in over his head when he found out that Ilyana had turned into a legitimately powerful sorceress after enduring her time in Limbo. And this time, Ilyana was able to defeat Sim and even force him to become her own servant. Magik would eventually become Limbo's sovereign ruler after this. Not only that, but it was also during this era when she discovered that summoning the Soul Sword on Earth also granted her a magical armor that would become one of her trademark tools of the trade. In fact, Magik had become so proficient with her mutant powers and sorcery that she even established her very own pet play whenever she and the New Mutants faced threats. Specifically, Magik had the habit of teleporting her targets to Limbo and defeating them there, where her powers are at her fullest. On the other hand, Magik also regularly summoned Limbo's demonic citizens, her very own army, to fight threats on Earth. During this period, Ilyana would come face to face with the cosmic threat known as the Beyonder. The Beyonder managed to accost Ilyana and release her other evil half called Darkchild. In the end, it would take Kitty Pryde to save Ilyana from being completely taken over by Darkchild. To do this, she used Magik's own soul sword to stab her friend and bring Ilyana's true self back to the fold. Sometime later, Magik and the New Mutants would face the Asgardian sorceress Amora, aka the Enchantress. Enchantress would use her powers to separate Ilyana from her Darkchild, after which she used Darkchild as one of her minions. But as superhero stories go, Magik and the New Mutants ultimately defeated both Enchantress and Darkchild, with Magik even banishing the Asgardian sorceress to Limbo after that. And not long after, Magik and the New Mutants would find themselves under the tutelage of longtime X-Men rival Magneto. It was during this time that Ilyana saw the return of the Beyonder, who proceeded to neutralize her magic-based abilities. the Beyonder, then took out Magic's fellow New Mutants, but also used his own powers to bring them back to life as his henchmen. Ultimately, the formidable mutant Rachel Summers would come to Ilyana's aid to finally put a stop to the Beyonder. Ilyana and the New Mutants then faced off against the interdimensional villain Mojo and defeated the Ugly Blob. Afterwards, Magik would find herself in a bind where the villain Magnus attacked her and her team. To fight Magnus, Magik used her mutant powers to transport them and their enemy to Limbo. There, Magnus would team up with Ilyana's treacherous demon minion Sim and attempt a coup. In response, Ilyana tried to destroy all of Limbo with her soul sword, but it didn't necessarily work like a charm. Magik had to return to Limbo after that to get back the soul sword and finally defeat Sim and Magnus. It was a bit of a costly fight too, as Magik allowed her Darkchild persona to take over in order to take out her enemies. This made her realize that she would be better off staying in Limbo than returning to Earth. This particular chapter in Ilyana's life came to a head when she and Professor X had a falling out when the old man pretty much forced her to return to Earth with the help of another mutant named Karma. This angered Ilyana enough for her to decide to leave the New Mutants for good. Now, Magik would fall into a spiral after this. She learned that her brother, Colossus, and her best friend Kitty Pryde had fallen in battle against the group known as the Marauders. This made Ilyana succumb to Darkchild's influence. However, Magneto managed to give Ilyana a much-deserved pep talk to keep her from giving in to her dark side. From there, Ilyana would experience a tug-of-war between her own self and Darkchild, vying for control of her entire being. She'd have several episodes where she found herself fighting against her fellow mutants at the Academy, such as the time she battled her old New Mutants teammates or when she transformed into Darkchild to assault Magneto. There was even one time when she tried to resurrect Colossus with the help of necromancy. It worked in a way, but Magik's whole takeaway from this particularly complicated chapter of her life was that she's got to make sure that Darkchild never overpowers her again. The death and return of Magik. We find out that Magik's old sniveling minion Sim was making moves in Limbo while all the drama was happening in her life back on Earth. Sim eventually grew strong enough to steal Magik's soul sword from her, not to mention that he sought the aid of another evil sorcerer named Nestirth to force Ilyana to transform into Darkchild. This all climaxed when Nestirth tried to take over Earth by opening up a portal that links it to Limbo, but ultimately Ilyana was able to get a grip on her Darkchild persona and, well, save the world. More importantly, this whole encounter left a lasting impact on Magik as she started to fully embrace her role as a true ruler of Limbo after this adventure. A whole convoluted plot that ultimately saw Ilyana pretty much getting a soft reboot. That is to say, a whole debacle between Magik's friend and fellow New Mutant teammate Wolfsbane and Darkchild ultimately led to Ilyana reverting into a previous version of herself, the one from before she learned English and stayed at Xavier's school for gifted youngsters. A villain named Soul Skinner would soon discover this, and Soul Skinner then took out Magik's parents and sought her out to use Magik's abilities for his own plans. But the X-Men managed to stop Soul Skinner. Not long after that, Marvel straight up took Magik off the board when they introduced the fictional disease called the Legacy Virus. Ilyana succumbed to the Legacy Virus, which then caused her brother Colossus to break bad and join Magneto's crew. Marvel then soon retconned this when it was revealed that the person responsible for Ilyana's death was none other than the older brother from the same mother, Mikhail. You'd see Mikhail had the Legacy Virus in him, so he transferred it to Ilyana thinking that she'd form an immunity to it. Well, she didn't, and bit the dust. But this is not where Magik's story ends. Soon after these revelations, we find out that Belasco had returned and was now salivating over the idea that he could finally recapture Ilyana's soul. With the help of his Bloodstone, which we've mentioned contains a small part of Ilyana's soul, Belasco was able to resurrect her. Or more specifically, Belasco brought Darkchild back to life. To make matters even more complicated, this version of Ilyana didn't have a soul. Belasco ultimately decided to exile her after finding out about this, and Darkchild would go on to basically try and become whole again. This all culminated in a face-off against Witchfire, Belasco's equally evil daughter, who also happens to be a sorceress. In the end, Darkchild proved herself to be not such a bad girl, after defeating Witchfire and to an extent reclaiming her identity as Ilyana. Afterwards, the rest of her mutant cohorts invited this new, soulless version of Magik to rejoin the X-Team. Magik returns to the New Mutants. Ilyana then proceeded to find a way to regain her soul by traveling through time and space. She would meet Professor X's son, the powerful yet unstable mutant Legion, and struck up a deal with him. In exchange for helping Legion return to Earth, Legion would help Magik defeat the Elder Gods, which would then help her get her soul back. Time travel and telepathic shenanigans ensued, where Legion eventually found himself in an unsurprisingly mental, unstable state. In the end, Magik entered Legion's mind to help him with all his issues, but still, Ilyana didn't have a soul. Time would pass, and we next see Magik as a prominent member of the then newfound mutant nation called Utopia, where she pretty much served as one of its guardians. In this capacity, Magik battled with the likes of supervillain Selene and the mutant-hating Purifiers. Regardless of her efforts to prove that she'd be keeping her Darkchild persona in check, even without a soul, some of mutant kind still had a lingering distrust of Ilyana, but there was no time to mope about it. That's because Magik soon got thrown into the fray yet again when she discovered that the shady government organization called Project Purgatory managed to set up shop in Limbo, so she and the rest of the New Mutants headed over to Limbo to try and stop these agents. However, they were soon overpowered, and what's worse, Project Purgatory was able to steal Ilyana's soul sword from her, along with another magical artifact called the Soul Dagger from another X-Team member, Pixie. It was then revealed that Project Purgatory was planning on using these magical artifacts to summon the Elder Gods. Magik gets her soul back. Now, Project Purgatory eventually became successful in summoning the Elder Gods. Things look dire for our heroes at this point, but remember Legion? Yeah, he might be a mentally unstable Omega level threat most of the time, but our guy knows how to keep an oath. Before the Elder Gods could wreak havoc on all of existence, Legion arrived on the scene and took out the Eldritch monsters. And he did it in a definitive fashion too, as Legion straight up altered reality to erase any and all traces of them from existence. In addition to that, this reality warping power also managed to fuse Ilyana with her soul, finally making her whole again. We then find out that Magik wasn't as heroic as she seemed to be, as she revealed that everything had happened right from when Belasco resurrected her up until this point was all part of her plan to restore her soul. Upon finding this out, the X-Men's leader Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, arrested Ilyana and equipped her with an explosive vest designed to blow up if she tried using any of her powers. Still, Magik said it was all fair play. She might be shady, but she knew she deserved the punishment, so she did her time. And it wasn't like she got life imprisonment, because not long after being sentenced, Cyclops crawled back to Ilyana and pretty much begged her to help the rest of mutantdom to put a stop to Asgardian god of fear, Kurth, who had possessed Cain Marko, aka the Juggernaut. To do that, Ilyana used her powers to travel to the Crimson Cosmos to meet Sidorak, the god of destruction, who also happens to be the same being who gave Cain Marko his powers as the Juggernaut. In a nutshell, Ilyana snitched on Cain and told Sidorak that he left him for Kurth. This enraged Sidorak, so he decided to remove all of Cain Marko's Juggernaut privileges and grant it to Magik instead. Before she could receive Sidorak's blessing, though, Piotr went full Big Brother mode and took Ilyana's place as the new Juggernaut instead. Now you should know that Cyclops and Wolverine had a bit of a lover's spat after this, which then caused mutant kind to fracture into two camps: Cyclops' so-called Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, and Wolverine's own Jean Grey School for Higher Learning. Magik chose to stay in Cyclops' camp even though they had their differences, and that's because she wanted to keep an eye on her brother in case his newfound Juggernaut powers flared up and wrecked everything. Ilyana becomes a god. A bit of time would pass and Magik and the rest of Cyclops' team would find themselves at odds with Earth's mightiest heroes, the Avengers. You see, the Avengers took it upon themselves to hunt down the young mutant of prophecy named Hope Summers, so they took over Utopia. Magik would prove to be invaluable during this confrontation, as she was the one responsible for being the team's personal transport, thanks to her mutant ability to open up portals. She would then transport her team to the moon, where they caught wind that Hope Summers was there. But they ended up confronting the Avengers again upon reaching it. Not only that, but the Phoenix Force was also pursuing Hope during this adventure, which was the main reason why the Avengers were so dead set on capturing her. During their battle with the Avengers on the moon, Iron Man inadvertently fractured the Phoenix Force, causing it to split into 5 pieces. These 5 Phoenix Force pieces then possessed Magik, Cyclops, Colossus, Emma Frost, and Namor, who then formed a super team called the Phoenix Force 5. We would bear witness to the extent of the Phoenix Force's influence within Ilyana when she urged her brother Colossus to take Spider-Man's life during one of their fights.
Thankfully, Colossus was more level-headed than his sister, so instead of taking out Spidey, Colossus tussled with Ilyana and they ended up literally knocking out the Phoenix Force out of each other. At this point, we're about to have some good old-fashioned family drama. You see, Magik originally intended for Colossus to take her place as the new Juggernaut, because in some messed up way that only Ilyana herself could understand, she believed that hoodwinking her brother into becoming Sidorak's slave would make Colossus realize that she's a bad girl who's unworthy of his love. Well, it worked. It worked too well because Colossus went on Sidorak-powered rampage when he learned this from Ilyana. Eventually, Ilyana helped Colossus break free of Sidorak's control by taking him to Limbo and using the Soul Sword to break his bond with the God of Destruction. But this left a bitter taste in his mouth. The damage has been done, and he swore he was going to take out Ilyana the next time they saw each other. Afterwards, Magik would help Cyclops escape from jail after the rest of Marvel's superheroes arrested him for basically trying to destroy the world using the Phoenix Force. And from there, Magik pretty much became a full-on vigilante. Magik would then discover that her powers had become augmented after her recent interaction with the Phoenix Force and Scarlet Witch's magic, which she used to bring the rest of mutant kind back to existence in a completely different storyline. In any case, Magik discovered that she now had the ability to channel Limbo's energies directly. There was one huge problem though: she didn't know how to control it. A whole debacle ensued where she accidentally transported herself and the rest of her team to Limbo, where they had to fight Dormammu. Ilyana defeated Dormammu, but she realized she needed help with her powers, so she sought the help of Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange proved to be an effective mentor, and she ended up keeping her powers in check. Sometime later, Magik pulled away from the Cyclops mutant vigilante group and joined Wolverine at the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning. Plus, she and Colossus reconciled with each other, so everything seemed to work out, for a time at least. Crisis and New Nations. Magik would go on to play supporting roles during the Terrigen Mist crisis that briefly gripped Earth 616, where she faced off against the Inhumans along with her mutant allies. She would also take on an apprentice named Sapna, but Magik would end up putting Sapna down when she got possessed by a cosmic threat called the World Eater. On a brighter note, Magik even helped X-Factor member Strong Guy get his soul back somewhere along the way. Magik returned to the spotlight during the House of X storyline when mutant kind found a new nation called Krakoa, which also happened to be a sentient mutant island. During this chapter,
chapter in her life, Ilyana became one of Krakoa's captains. During her tenure, Magik found herself participating in a gladiatorial contest called the Ten of Swords Tournament. She'd also become a mentor of young mutants of this island nation, and more notably, Magik would also join the Marauders during this period. That's not where the adventures end for Ilyana either, as our girl proved that she was a legit multitasker. Aside from everything we mentioned, Magik went on missions with her old team, the New Mutants. During one of their exploits, she and her team went to space to go look for their old friend Cannonball. This opened up a whole interstellar adventure where Ilyana found herself allying with Shi'ar, specifically the warrior princess Deathbird. They then proceeded in helping the rest of mutant kind find safe passage to Krakoa. Not only that, but Magik even got herself a side gig becoming an instructor at Strange Academy. At this point, Ilyana finally realized that she'd been stretched too thin, because remember, Magik was spinning on a lot of plates. On one hand, she was one of Krakoa's captains, then she was also a member of New Mutants, and not to mention she also had a gig teaching at Strange Academy. Oh, and let's not forget, she was also a literal queen back in Limbo. In light of all this, Magik came to the conclusion of streamlining her time and attention, so she decided to drop one of her many roles. In particular, she chose to relinquish her throne in Limbo and hand it over to someone else. Magik saw that there was one person in the world who was capable of filling her role as Limbo's sovereign, former villainous and Jean Grey clone, Madeline Pryor, aka the Goblin Queen. So Magik put her plan into action and proceeded to hand over her rule of Limbo to Madeline by traveling to the dimension along with fellow New Mutants Wolfsbane and Danny Moonstar as witness. But a wrench is thrown in her plan when they discover that Sim is back at it with his sniveling ways as the demon tried for the umpteenth time to take control of the dimension. Magik, Madeline, Wolfsbane, and Danny would then fight Sim and his loyalists. As always, they end up putting Sim in his place, and after that, Magik would finally be able to hand over control of Limbo to Madeline, freeing her of the responsibilities to the realm.
Why would you ban Hulk if we have an Iron Man and a Hulk? Oh my god, that shit actually went through. That's crazy.
Holy shit, dude.
I'm fucking cooked. It's fine though. We win these. Never lost these in my life. I think I'm gonna make a nether ult. See if I can hit. I'm gonna try to do an unranked to GM on support only. I don't think I'll be able to do it personally. Like I feel like the lower ranks DPS are like so dog shit.
Portal.
Oh.
I was in trouble.
Behind us.
No escaping us now. Limbo. Come, my minion.
Find cover.
Have fun.
You're welcome. I really like her arm.
Double kill.
Just in time.
Nice. Good stuff.
Oh, what the fuck? You got Jackie Chan? Please focus, Bruce Lee.
Oh no, look behind.
Slut.
We are undefeatable.
No shot, he lives. No shot, he lives. No shot.
There's a legendary man on the point. You gotta ult us in.
Yo, fucking Mantis. Kill Mantis. You won.
Come, my minion.
Double kill.
One of the good guys.
Point, dude.
Oh.
Really? Y'all don't hear that?
I don't know. I was like so fucking focused on railing them.
You need to.
Yeah, Magneto!
Oh, fuck, dude.
Come, my minion.
I'm gonna ult in.
Better stop that vehicle. Child.
Child out to play.
This is a shit team. We're way better than them. Stop it.
I got two. I don't know. You guys didn't have to push up with me after that.
Hey, we need to help. Help her back. Please, just leave him alone.
Alright, this is as far as I go, guys. Come on, Lucky.
Yeah, I mean, they're Iron Fist for killing her. James, Doctor Strange is literally one.
Can we get some space? Like, holy shit. These tanks had to do a better fucking job. I'm the one getting all the fucking space in this bitch. But I need you guys to stop being so pussy. I can't be the one taking all the fucking space all the time. I have 200 health. I'm about to die.
Just back up. You don't need to be the aggro. Iron Fist behind our rock in. If everybody just turns around. Everybody just turns around. Okay, we kind of can't. Magneto, you have to ult this. You have to ult this. Kill him, please.
You guys got him, right?
Yeah. Iron Fist still alive.
Back up. What the fuck is he in, man?
Me?
I don't know what my Punisher was doing all the way up there just now.
Don't give them another inch. We are undefeatable.
Come, my minion.
Yo, where are you guys? I'm literally 1v4 on a point. That might have been a 1v5. I don't understand what the fuck is going on.
Are you TPing?
Nah, I'm getting an off angle. Fuck y'all. Oh, never mind. It's already there. What? Oh, never seen that one before. That's a new one. He actually just put a portal at his feet. Walk up. We have 2 shields. Walk up.
We got Jackie Chan in the back.
Zero healing. We're not walking up. We have 2 shields. 2 shields, bro. What? Yo, you guys gotta get in. We're literally up right now. Why are you guys so scared? The way these guys are playing, you would have thought we were down like 600. Like, what the fuck? Alright, bro. Yeah, we cannot run name or magic. Somebody needs to kill that motherfucker. I can, okay. I was about to swap, but okay.
Fuck, that was a good shield.
I'm gonna ult, keep me alive.
Can we call some targets? Amito, Strange?
Nice. Good stuff.
I was in trouble.
He's one. Fuck.
By the eye of Agamotto. We are undefeatable.
On my way. Come, my minion.
I'm trying, man. Fuck. Oh, Magneto showed us. I'm gonna go bubbly sound. They have both supports. They have no supports. Please don't fuck this up. Oh, right. They both have reses.
My arm is stronger now.
Down to 30 seconds.
Daisy.
We are undefeatable.
Go have fun.
Bro, this backline shit is cancer. Character's cancer. He's beating the shit out of me.
Hostiles coming in fast.
By the eye of Agamotto.
I understand what it is now. You guys like edging me.
Reading my mind, Mantis.
Vehicle reached the checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Let me push up. I have my ult.
Chinese dude behind me. You can die.
Just in time.
I got the Mantis ult. Legendary better go stupid now.
Dark Strange out of position.
Come, my minion.
Please leave him. I'm gonna die with my ult. I'm gonna die with my ult. God damn it, dude. We immediately wake him up. And now I'm not there. Like, why did we wake him?
Kill him, kill him, kill Iron Fist too.
Go.
Chin up. On your six. Mine's okay. Let's keep fighting until we have a winner. Double KO. That's 3. Wow, 4 in a row.
Nice. I like how my team waited until overtime to get every single one of those points. Holy shit, I was getting edged just now.
I need assistance. Now's my chance.
What just killed me?
Everything.
Wait, he's trolling. Get in.
Two of us did.
I'm here.
Must resist.
Final 10 seconds.
Excellent form.
Come, my minion. I was in trouble.
He's one. Nice. Wait, what?
No, I'm so screwed. Oh, dude.
Holy shit.
Legendary.
I'll draw. Why did you pop it? Why?
Huge block.
Oh wait, you're the GOAT.
Never miss.
Brawler dead.
I don't know how you just got any kills in the fucking Mantis ult, but you're the fucking GOAT, man. Good shit. Ooh.
Just in time. Thanks. Come, my minion.
Hey, Mantis, left side. He dies.
He's one. Nice.
Stay left. No.
Come, my minion.
Double KO. We are undefeatable.
He's gonna start on. Yeah. Just healing you.
Double KO.
We are working for this W. I love these games.
Armed and dangerous. Born again.
Double KO. We are undefeatable.
Fuck, I died with 3%. Sorry. At 3%. I think that was really.
5, 2, 3.
The beans portal?
No, that was us.
I am wounded. Only 60 seconds left.
Watch high ground above us.
strength is back.
They're gonna TP, they're gonna TP 100%. Watch the TP.
There it is.
Mantis, I need it all. Please. Thank you.
I told you.
GG's.
We like to edge, right?
I almost died.
Just edging you, dog.
God, they're edging me this game. That's a great title. What the fuck?
Greetings, true believers, and welcome to another uncanny episode of History of the Marvel Universe. Ilyana Nikolevna Rasputina was born on the Ust-Ordinsky collective farm in the Russian province of Siberia. There she spent her early childhood with her parents and older brother Pyotr, a mutant with the natural ability to transform into super strong organic steel. When Ilyana was a child, her brother left the farm to join Charles Xavier's team of mutant superheroes, the X-Men, and became Colossus. Because of this, it wasn't long before Ilyana too was pulled into the strange world of superheroics. An eccentric assassin known as Arcade had seemingly been imprisoned by the villainous Dr. Doom, or at least one of his robot duplicates. And so, Arcade's assistant, a woman named Miss Locke, decided to coerce the X-Men into freeing her employer by abducting their loved ones, including Ilyana Rasputin. Rather than relying on Locke to keep her word, Professor X assembled a second team of X-Men for a two-pronged strategy. While Storm, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Angel, and Colossus infiltrated Doom's castle in the Adirondack Mountains, Banshee, Iceman, Havoc, and Polaris traveled to Arcade's twisted theme park, Murder World, to rescue Ilyana and the others. After a successful mission on both fronts, Ilyana was brought back to the X-Mansion for safekeeping. Colossus and Kitty Pryde looked after the young girl, which was made easier after Professor X telepathically tutored the X-Men in Russian. He similarly implanted the ability to speak English into Ilyana's mind one night while she slept. For a time, she was safe and happy. But then one day, the X-Men set up a base of operations on a strange island in the Bermuda Triangle. Unbeknownst to the mutant team, their activities there were being observed by the demonic sorcerer Belasco. You see, Belasco was a 13th century magic user who struck a deal with an evil group of elder gods for power and immortality. These gods transformed the sorcerer into a demonic state, giving him the power he desired, and in exchange Belasco was commanded to create 5 bloodstones, and use them in a ritual to bring the elder gods to Earth. However, when Belasco was defeated by the jungle man Kazar, his failure was punished and the elder gods banished him to the hellish dimension of Limbo. As a side note, this Limbo, sometimes referred to as Other Place, is a different realm from the temporal Limbo ruled by Immortus. From there, the demonic sorcerer took notice of the innocent young Ilyana, and realized he could use her soul to produce the Bloodstones. He lured her away from the X-Men and used one of Limbo's portals, referred to as stepping discs, to pull her into his realm, claiming that he loved her. Realizing that Ilyana had wandered off, the X-Men soon followed and were themselves pulled into Limbo through the stepping discs. Storm, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, Colossus, and Kitty Pryde were all stranded, but due to Limbo's twisted, overlapping timeline, they soon discovered that this had happened before. The X-Men of another reality had also come to Limbo years prior, and while they succeeded in rescuing their own version of Ilyana, the 5 of them had been trapped there. While the alternate universe versions of Colossus and Wolverine had been killed by Belasco's servant, Sim, Kitty Pryde was partially mutated into a cat-like creature, simply called Cat, and Nightcrawler was brainwashed into becoming Belasco's servant. The alternate Storm, simply going by her real name, Aurora, grew older, and while her ability to use her mutant power waned, she substituted her powers by learning magic. Not wishing to see history repeat itself, the older Aurora held off Belasco's demonic hordes, while the newly trapped X-Men made their escape with Illyana. However, at the last moment, Belasco himself grabbed Illyana and pulled her back into limbo. Having claimed his prize, Belasco extracted a piece of Illyana's soul and used it to forge the first of the 5 necessary bloodstones, which he permanently affixed to a pentagram medallion. Aurora attempted to stop the demonic sorcerer, but in her advanced age, she was no match for Belasco armed with the power of a bloodstone. Fortunately, Kat, the older alternate universe Kitty Pryde, arrived on the scene and drove Belasco away. The two women brought Illyana back to Aurora's garden sanctuary, where the old sorceress attempted to sever the magical link Belasco had formed with Illyana. Upon failing to accomplish this, Aurora decided to instead tutor the young girl in magic, which would allow her to better defend herself against Belasco and the demonic corruption he had already implanted in her soul. This upset Kat, who left the garden swearing she would not allow Illyana to be used by Belasco. After the young girl spent some time training with Aurora, Kat snuck back into the sanctuary and convinced Illyana to leave with her. She brought her to Limbo's twisted, barren reflection of the Savage Land, where Kat taught Illyana how to fight with a sword. After 3 years of this, Kat brought Illyana back to Belasco's citadel, intending to send her home and out of his reach. The two were attacked by the corrupted Nightcrawler, but while Illyana held off the former X-Man, Kat was able to put him down for good. They then walked out onto Belasco's altar, where the walls between dimensions were at their thinnest. However, they were intercepted by Belasco himself, who seized Illyana once again, intending to further corrupt her and transform her into his Dark Child. He also further mutated Kat, making her both more feral and completely obedient. It seems Belasco's demonic influence had taken root in Illyana as well, for when he passed her a blade, she silently used it to cut her own wrist and conjure a second bloodstone. She then spent the next 2 years under Belasco's tutelage as her dark powers grew. She also attempted to use the same magic that Aurora had used to create her garden, but found herself unable to conjure even a single acorn. During these years, the demon Sim would punish the young girl at the slightest provocation, and sometimes for no reason at all. However, another demon by the name of Nastir also had plans for Illyana and ensured that Sim's punishments were never fatal. It was around this time that Illyana's mutant power manifested, allowing her to conjure and control Limbo's stepping disc to traverse through space and time. Not long after that, Aurora infiltrated Belasco's citadel, seeking to rescue Illyana. Kat slashed the old sorceress across the back, mortally wounding her, but Illyana leapt onto Kat and, with a forceful twist, snapped her neck, killing her former friend and mentor. Belasco then commanded Illyana to use Storm's essence to craft a third bloodstone. However, Illyana refused, instead killing Aurora, thereby freeing the old woman's soul from Belasco's darkness. With Storm dead, the weather in the skies above Belasco's tower began to go mad. Illyana used a stepping disc to teleport away and buried Aurora in her garden sanctuary. However, Belasco soon caught up to the young girl and used a piece of her tainted soul to create another bloodstone, leaving her stranded in the frozen wasteland that was once Aurora's garden. She took shelter beside the oldest and largest tree there, attempting again to replicate Storm's life-creating magic by using her own essence to conjure a new acorn. However, again she failed. Then, after the old tree collapsed, Illyana tried again, but this time, something was different. This time, instead of using her own soul to create life, she plunged her hand into a sphere of her own essence and drew forth a blade. With her newly forged soul sword in hand, Illyana used her stepping disc to teleport back to the citadel and challenge Belasco. She struck down his servant Sim and destroyed his ancient tomes. As the battle progressed, Belasco began to lose his eldritch power, becoming human once again, while Ilyana grew more demonic. However, realizing what she was becoming, Ilyana stopped short of killing her opponent. Belasco seized his opportunity to escape with the arcane power he had remaining to him, and Ilyana reverted back to human form. Then, stepping out onto Belasco's altar, Ilyana was able to use a disc to return home. But because of Limbo's strange chronology, while the young girl had spent 7 years in the hellish dimension, only a few seconds had passed on Earth. The now teenage Ilyana continued to stay at the X-Mansion, but kept her dark power a secret at first. Not long after, the demon Sim followed the Dark Child from Limbo and attacked. However, Ilyana defeated Sim, forcing him to pledge his loyalty to her, effectively making Ilyana the new ruler of Limbo. And of course, Ilyana's powers, both mutant and magical, wouldn't stay secret for long. After Kitty Pryde was kidnapped by Emma Frost, the White Queen of the Hellfire Club, Ilyana joined up with Xavier's recent group of teenage recruits, the New Mutants, to rescue her. After that, Ilyana stayed with the New Mutants, operating under the code name Magik. Shortly after this, Ilyana was injured while the group battled a magical demon bear, but her wounds instantly healed, covering themselves in a magical silver armor. While the armor disappeared after the battle, leaving no trace of itself or the injuries it covered, when Ilyana used her soul sword, the armor would return, covering more and more of her body. At the same time, the dark power inside her also grew, and when the extremely powerful interdimensional entity known as the Beyonder came to Earth, he forcefully drew this dark magic forth, physically transforming Ilyana into the cloven-hooved Dark Child. While she was able to change back to human form, Ilyana soon found that the transformation would again be triggered by using too much magic or through extreme emotional distress. Then, things in Limbo changed after the New Mutants were attacked by the Magus, the father of their techno-organic alien ally, Warlock. Magic transported the team to Limbo to escape, but the Magus followed, infecting the demons there with the transmode virus, transforming them into techno-organic creatures like himself. This included Sim, who began amassing power in an attempt to overthrow Magic as the ruler of Limbo. Ilyana attempted to hold off Sim's hordes of techno-organic demons, but found she could prevent them from gaining strength by leaving her soul sword plunged into the ground, temporarily suppressing Limbo's demonic taint. However, whenever Magic was forced to draw her blade in battle, Sim's power grew. Meanwhile, Ilyana's demonic side, the Dark Child, continued to grow stronger as well. Things in Limbo came to a head when Sim allied himself with the demon sorcerer Nastir. Concocting a plan to invade Earth, Nastir and his magical followers, uninfected by the transmode virus, kidnapped 13 mutant children to use in a dark ritual in the skies above Manhattan. Meanwhile, while returning from a mission off-world, Magic and the New Mutants were again pulled into Limbo for another confrontation with Sim and his techno-organic demons. This time, because of the growing corruption in Ilyana's soul, Sim was able to steal her soul sword for himself. The team ported away and escaped, but Nastir convinced Ilyana to attack Sim and reclaim her soul sword. In doing so, Ilyana transformed, becoming fully demonic. Then, when the Dark Child opened a stepping disc to return to Earth, she inadvertently completed Nastir's ritual, opening a massive portal to Limbo above New York, from which hordes of demons emerged. Ilyana, Nastir, and Sim battled each other for control of the demonic invasion. During these fights, Nastir also became infected with the transmode virus, and Ilyana completely encased herself in her silvery magical armor. Colossus also joined the fight, holding off Sim while Ilyana decided that the only way to stop the invasion was to completely abandon her humanity and ascend to Limbo's demonic throne. The New Mutants, however, begged her to find another way. By using Limbo's stepping discs to dive through time and space, they were able to find and rescue a younger Ilyana from before she was tainted by Belasco's demonic influence. The mutant team brought the younger Ilyana, possibly the Ilyana from the same Earth as the older Storm and the other X-Men who perished in Limbo, and brought her before her teenage self. Enraged, the demonic Ilyana discarded her armor and, glowing with magical light, nearly struck down her younger counterpart. However, she realized there was another choice she could make to undo the damage she had done. The teenage Ilyana sacrificed herself, erasing her presence in Limbo while simultaneously pulling the demonic hordes back to their hellish realm and sealing the portal to Earth once again. When the dust settled, all that was left was her armor. But when Colossus held it, he heard his sister's voice coming from inside. Ripping the armor open, Colossus found the younger Ilyana, alive and well. For a time, this seemed to be a happy ending for the Rasputin siblings. However, things did not remain that way, and the younger Ilyana fell ill. A victim of the mutant-specific legacy virus, the child passed away soon after. Meanwhile, the older Ilyana's soul sword magically transferred itself to Kitty Pryde. However, after changing hands several times, the soul sword was eventually claimed by a sorceress named Amanda Sefton. Amanda had her own traumatic experiences with Belasco in Limbo, and so she decided to take on Ilyana's legacy, becoming the new magic and establishing herself as Limbo's ruler. However, in order to keep Ilyana's soul sword safe from those who would misuse it, Amanda hid it within the purest soul she knew, her former lover, Kurt Wagner, aka Nightcrawler. Then, something changed. Thanks to a spell cast by the Scarlet Witch, reality itself was transformed, and the House of M reigned. One of the many differences in this altered reality was that Ilyana Rasputin was alive and well, working as a shield agent alongside several other young mutants. However, this reality existed only briefly. Earth's heroes restored the world to its proper state, and Ilyana ceased to be once more. But from his exile outside of normal space and time, Belasco saw her, his heir, his love, his dark child. He wanted her back, and, convinced she was still alive, Belasco clawed his way back into Limbo. He carved a bloody swath through the demonic hordes and challenged Amanda Sefton for control of the hellish realm. Without the soul sword of the original, the new magic was defeated and banished to Earth. After assuming control of Limbo once more, Belasco attempted to resurrect Ilyana, but lacking her soul, the demonic sorcerer could only restore the twisted dark child. Mistakenly convinced the real Ilyana was still alive, Belasco abducted a team of new X-Men, expecting them to reveal the location of Ilyana's soul. However, the Dark Child intercepted Belasco's spell, spiriting some of the new X-Men off to Limbo's wastelands, one of which was a mutant girl named Pixie. The Dark Child knew that the only weapon that had proven effective against Belasco was the Soul Sword, but without her soul, the resurrected Ilyana could neither summon her blade nor craft a new one. Pixie was young and innocent, much like Ilyana was when she first fell into Limbo, and so the Dark Child intended to use her soul to forge a new blade. Pixie reluctantly agreed, and while a new bloodstone was forged from a piece of her soul, the other X-Men interrupted the spell before it was completed, resulting in Pixie's soul weapon emerging as a dagger. This experience also awakened Ilyana's dormant memories within the Dark Child. Ilyana then taught Pixie a teleportation spell so the team could confront Belasco and rescue their friends. Ilyana led the assault, summoning her magical armor and attacking her former mentor once more. This time, with the combined might of magic and the new X-Men against him, Belasco was killed when Pixie thrust her soul dagger into his back. Almost immediately after that, the older X-Men, including Ilyana's brother Colossus, arrived on the scene to rescue their students. Unable to contend with her brother seeing her in her demonic state, Magik sent the X-Men, young and old, back to Earth. Staying behind, Ilyana took her place as the ruler of Limbo, with even Sim and Nastir swearing fealty to her. With her demonic hordes, Ilyana began scouring Limbo, searching for her soul sword and the 3 missing bloodstones. Meanwhile, back on Earth, with her new ability to teleport, Pixie was being tutored by Nightcrawler. However, her soul dagger caused her to lose her senses and stab her teacher in the chest. Thankfully, Nightcrawler was physically uninjured, and when Pixie pulled the soul dagger out of his body, it dragged with it Ilyana's soul sword, still hidden inside of him where Amanda had left it. Immediately sensing a piece of her own soul, the Dark Child used a stepping disc to jump back to Earth. Illyana attacked the X-Men and reclaimed her soul sword, and in doing so, seemed to restore her lost humanity. But then, upon returning to Limbo, Illyana discovered the person who had taken possession of the missing Bloodstones. Belasco's true daughter, Witchfire, who intended to conquer Limbo for herself. Witchfire stole Pixie's Bloodstone and placed it in Illyana's old amulet, leaving only one remaining to fulfill her father's goals of summoning the Elder Gods. Meanwhile, Nightcrawler led a team of X-Men, including Colossus and Pixie, into Limbo to try and reach Illyana. Pixie confronted Witchfire, but the villainess overpowered the young mutant and forged the final Bloodstone from her soul. With the pentagram completed, Witchfire began summoning her father's Dark Masters. Fortunately, as the newest Bloodstone was not yet permanently adhered to the amulet, Illyana and Pixie were able to use their soul weapons to dislodge it and interrupt the ritual. The stone they pried free fused with Pixie's soul dagger, but Witchfire escaped with the remaining 4 Bloodstones. Illyana returned the X-Men to Earth once more, and intended to resume her role in Limbo. However, Colossus and Cyclops convinced her to stay with them, because they were her family. And so, Illyana remained on Earth as a member of the X-Men. She reunited with her old allies, the New Mutants, and used her powers, her sorcery, her soul sword, and her control of Limbo to fight for justice and mutant rights as Magik. And that's the origin and history of Illyana Rasputina. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, leave a
Already your efforts send shockwaves across the multiverse, Hunter. Your mother will be so proud.
I am just getting started.
Good. So am I.
Usurper! You forget. You are not the ruler of Limbo. I am.
Illyana, nicely done. You always were so gifted.
So gifted, you stole me from my parents, twisted me into a living weapon until I cast you from this very realm?
I mean, yes.
This is starting to sound familiar.
I have reopened Blaze's portal, as well as a few others. Leave, now. Mephisto and I have some catching up to do.
A minor inconvenience.
Hi there, everybody. Quick thing before we get started. I wanted to go ahead and just say big sorry for lack of content. I made a video saying that I was back. I coincidentally get sick right after that and did not have the videos to back it up. I played on stream a bit, but my energy wasn't exactly there a lot of times, so I didn't really feel comfortable putting all of that on like a video format. But anyway, I digress. Thank you guys for sticking with me. I'm back for I'm actually back for the 3rd time. Anyway, Magik. We're gonna talk about it. This is my favorite character in the game right now. I think Magik is terrific. I think she's fantastic. I think she's a really, really good flex pick. I think she can fill a really, really good role whenever you have 2 tanks or even 1 tank. I think she's a really good option. Magik's strengths come in. Stop talking. Shut up. Holy shit. Okay. Magik fits a really, really, really good role in this game. She's a brawl assassin, tank kind of bruiser, more like hybrid. That can really hang with the best of them, especially like in a brawl setting. She does pretty good. That's not her only role, obviously, but that's going to be a lot of what you're going to be trying to do and assist your teammates with. So let's talk about the big thing. So everyone sees it, everyone loves it, everybody wants to know how. Combos, super duper simple. She's got 2 main bread and butters that you're going to actually want to like kind of get in the hang of. First of all, we're going to talk about the E hitbox. I'm sure everybody's seen that really that really weird thing where like Hawkeye's shooting to the right of the guy, they're taking damage. I'm sure a lot of you know that's actually just a hitbox thing because you're looking over your right shoulder. Anyway, it applies to Magik's E as well. So let's go ahead and take a look. So if you see I'm looking straight at the bot, we're going to look a little bit left center. This is going to happen to a lot of people. A lot of people are going to miss because of this. Press E, we clear him. It's crazy. We clear him. We don't even get that close to him. It's pretty brutal. But we look over, we can be pretty generous actually with this. Over the right shoulder. Check that out. Crazy, right? you really, really need to get into the habit of looking at your right side of the shoulder. Because again, how generous can we be? I would say that's pretty generous, all things considered. You can pretty much not even be looking at the guy. But that compared to this, where you don't even clear you just clear him, that's field goal status. You're just missing entirely. But now that we've gone over that a bit, practice that a little bit in actual games. Go into a quick match, do whatever you need to do. Make sure you're actually hitting this pretty consistently. The bot up in the sky is actually pretty okay practice for warm-up kind of thing. Anyway, first combo, we're going to go with probably the more optimistic of two options is going to be this one. So it's actually going to be involving your projectile, which is your right click. You charge it up, you throw that bitch, dash in, auto attack, that's a death. Pretty good, pretty simple, pretty clean. I don't think anything else has to be acknowledged really about it. Anyway, next combo is actually going to involve the portal, and it's going to involve an auto attack. Before we talk about this, though, it's really important. If you take a look, Magik's range is pretty decent. She's got a pretty good wide swing. Everything, like, that's pretty solid. But big problem with Magik is it's slow as shit, dude. Like, this is fucking crazy. But what you can do is that you can actually weave in a melee attack into your auto attack. And what are autos? They're just your standard left click. Throw it out. It's MOBA terms. Anyway, you get the picture. Not really a whole lot more need to talk about that. So that's really important, though, because you can actually weave in one of those guys in the air whenever you're, hitting with your E. Why is that important? Because the second kill combo for killing like squishies is actually going to be portal. You're going to do your Eldritch Whirl into the E, into an auto, into a melee cancel. Super duper great, super duper clean, super cool. Now, we're going to talk about mindsets for the character. I think that's a big one. A lot of time whenever I see people play Magik and I see them do something that they shouldn't be doing, I'll see two different types of people. I'll see the type of person that sits in the backline perma all game. This is how people typically try to play this character at the start, whenever they first get their hands on her. And they'll sit back here and they will just wait. They'll throw this out. They'll hit a squishy. They'll dive into 4 people. They'll whiff. They'll die. Game is over. Your DPS is throwing. Can't really do a whole lot. And they'll typically switch after that. Or you'll see the type that won't really care where their tank is at all. And they're just going to dash in. They're just spamming abilities. Perma fighting in 4 people, they die. They're dying every time. Doesn't matter. They just don't understand. And that's okay. That's why we're here. We're here to help them. We're here to assist them. And we're here to help you yell at them when they're doing that wrong. So, next part, pretty interesting. We're going to be talking about kind of like what you want to be doing in a mindset. Because both playstyles can actually work with some fine-tuning. First one, the assassin-ish playstyle, is a lot more, we're going to call it like a potential man kind of mindset. It can be really, really good. And it's really, really good at actually mental mind gaming, because Magik is not exactly like Spider-Man, because she actually does have the guns to back up her survivability, in the sense of if you dive into 2 people, you can't outplay it. You're going to be a bit beefy, and it's not going to be like a one-shot, unless you're stunned, but we'll talk about that later. So what you want to do is, this character is really, really reliant on where is your team? Where is your team? Where's your team? That is the biggest thing, more so than other dive characters when you play her like a dive. You need to make sure that your tank is doing whatever you need them to do, because you cannot play this character and you cannot dive recklessly in the backline if your tank is picking daisies. If your tank is really far back, so not 5 meters, not 10 meters, we're talking 15 meters, 20 meters. Your tank is back there and you're attempting to just dive to a point where they can't help you. I hate to say this, it's curtains 9 times out of 10. It's gonna be really, really hard for them to assist you in this situation. But if they're 10, 15-ish meters, give or take, encroaching on 10 to 5, this actually works pretty good, because you got their backline right here. So we'll call this levels of layers. So if they're doing 2, 2, 2. So you got their backline, their damage, and you got their tanks. This won't always be the case, obviously, but for humor it for a second. So here are their, or better yet, this is support, that's damage, that's tank. Your tank is actually in their shit, and you've got another one right up here. This is actually where you have a really, really good time with this. Playing with 2 tanks is when you can do this a lot more of the time. Playing with 1 tank is a little different. Again, we'll talk about that after. So, it's pressure. You can actually go in, and you are out of there. And then what do you do after this? Well, when you're waiting on cooldowns especially, you're actually just going to be poking. You're not going to be using a bunch of abilities. You might be able to throw a right click in there. You don't typically want to be just using anything for no reason. You want to use your abilities with actual purpose, not for the sake of just using them. But that's the assassin playstyle. It's not always going to be the thing that you can do, but it's going to be pretty good a lot of the time for 2-2-2 situations where they're getting really sloppy. They don't really have a Penny Parker to help with the dive. They don't have a Namor, that kind of thing. It's going to be pretty solid. It's going to be pretty good. Now, what if we have 1 tank? What are we doing then? If we have 1 tank, what is the move? Magic's really, really good at this. She's super duper duper good at just being a pseudo tank of sorts. She does more damage than your tank, but she can't tank as good as a tank. It's really nice. So we're gonna say this is the tank. This is the backline, right? Perfect situation. You're actually just gonna be with your tank, applying pressure. You don't intend to kill the tank. That's not your goal here. You just want to give the impression that they really need to be urgent with their help, because at any time, oh, big scary magic's gonna come over and they're gonna do a bunch of damage. That's not what you want to do. You want the support to get uncomfortable and think that they have to move so you can do something freaky like this. And what do we do after that? We're helping the tank again. We got our kill, we're backing out. Or, now, this is really nice. If you're full HP and you've stacked this up, you're going to build your stacks for your bonus health, which you get by dealing damage to enemies. You're going to get that while like poking this tank, right? Now, in a opportunity like this, where you're full HP, no one's attacking you, and you dash in, and you're in there, right? You just portal out, you drop demon, you're just doing more damage. You're just doing more damage, you're helping your tank, and you're backing up whenever you need more cooldowns. Pretty easy. Sounds simple, not so. It can be really, really hard, especially you're going to get in situations where your tank is scared. Low elo especially, where they're walking backward and they're just worried. They're really scared. I don't know why. It happens more often than you think. If somebody's filled, they normally play Jeff the Shark or they play like Luna. They don't really know what to do. And this is an awkward situation for them. So the unfortunate problem is whenever you're in a situation like this, it's best to just switch. Play something that's going to apply pressure in a way that Magic can't, because if your tank isn't going to play like a tank, you can't play like a tank either. It's a very codependent relationship, you with the tank, if you're playing Magic, in a like one tank situation. Because all you need is one good tank. One good tank, and you can actually really, really flex this a lot. Unless you like get hard CC'd, but typically you're going to want to be playing like and pairing with something like Hulk is a great example of this. Because you're playing behind him, if you need a bubble and he pops bubbles since you're on top of him, you're going to get it. And it's really, really, it's huge. It's nice. It's really, really great. You can actually get a lot of value out of having characters like Hulk, Magneto, Thor works pretty okay too. They help a lot. Because your goal here is to be able to provide a position on this character where if you're playing with one tank, you probably have two other DPSs. What are they probably doing? They're probably either, one of them's probably on Hela and the other one's probably inting on Spider-Man. So you're actually going to be able to cover the Spider-Man space because that guy's probably doing nothing anyway. But you're in a pretty good spot where you can actually help your teammate. You can apply pressure here. That you can actually, you have a pretty good window to, if your support gets, they've got somebody on them, Venom dives. Well, you're back. You're home. You're helping your support. What do you do after that's over? You go back up. You're charging your cooldowns. In the fight, you're building your HP. You're doing pretty good. You're diving that backline. You're out of there. You're helping the tank. You're getting your cooldowns. Pretty solid. Pretty cool. Great. Awesome. I'm glad we talked about that. Remember, biggest, like, large thing, to kind of summarize, you're a really, really good assassin whenever you have two tanks. You're very, very optimistic if you only have one about that kind of thing. If you're trying to brawl, you're in a really, really good spot. If you have a tank that can play forward, if a tank is really scared and they're playing backward, probably swap, or if you want to force the pick, you might just want to, at that point, just say, fuck it, and then just start playing like an assassin anyway. Because you're not going to be able to be healed like a tank. You're not going to be able to survive a lot of stuff the way a tank can. It's tragic, but it's true. So, let's talk about Demon and Whirlwind. We talked about the E, pretty much everything like that. We'll talk about it more with the ult, but now let's talk about Demon and Whirlwind. So, whenever you use your shift, obviously you go through the portal. Really, really nice. You have two options. You have the Whirlwind, or you have the Demon. Now that little critter, the Demon, he's actually probably the most, in my opinion, underrated ability in the game. I think the Demon is really, really good. I think that people don't talk about it enough, and I don't think that they're knowing how to use it. Demon has a lot of properties that can really, really assist you in games. So, for one, it's actually best if we do this over here. So we're going to wait for this bot to go in. Say that there's like 3 people in this room. Drop Demon in this doorway. That's pretty good damage. Demon's not bad damage at all. And he can help a lot in situations like that. So, a large thing as well. So we talked about this a minute ago. But your passive, Limbos, might convert damage inflicted to enemies into bonus health to herself. It's really, really solid. Demon is pretty good at applying this. I mean, that's 125 HP. I think. Wait, no. I'm lying. It's not 125. God, don't listen to me. But you get what I mean. It's pretty good. It's pretty good because not only that, you're getting quite a bit of HP, and while that's happening, you're also stacking with your own attacks. that are separate from the demon. So it's really, really nice. Demon can't really be used in a lot of combo situations like the whirlwind, so that use case is kind of out the window. But what I do like to do, and I see a lot of good magic players do, they'll teleport behind the tank, they'll demon, and then that's whenever you're actually able to teleport behind, kind of creating a front and back situation. If it's a Magneto, he's not going to be able to block both. Same thing with the Strange. If you're just doing some constant damage, it's really, really nice. It can be really, really helpful. And building that HP up is going to deal a lot. Let's talk about something a little bit different with the Demon as well. It's kind of a different property that a lot of people don't use correctly. The Demon actually has its own hitbox when it comes to taking damage as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to just drop this little guy in front. We're gonna act like we're running backward. See how he's hitting the demon? He acts the same thing as another teammate. It's another entity of sorts. It's like a barrier. Now, not in every situation is this going to be helpful, but in situations where you're running away from a Punisher, a Star-Lord, something like that, a Hela, a Hawkeye, it's actually gonna be helpful. It's gonna be able to get you out, especially in long corridors where it's pretty much walk backward and hope. You know, you drop portal back, pop a demon down, pretty good. If a melee character decides to pursue, well, they're getting hit. That's bonus HP. Pretty good, pretty solid, pretty clean. Whirlwind is a bit of a different type of situation. Oftentimes, I'll see people, they'll go in, they'll pop Whirlwind like it's doing some crazy amount of damage. This is like nothing. So we'll put this in perspective. This is the damage from Whirlwind. This is the damage from an auto. And if you want to get a little bit more freaky, we'll just like this, the whirlwind damage. Let's look at an auto with a cancel in it. Yeah, I don't know about you. That's pretty pathetic. You don't want to just like whirlwind in for free. You're doing almost nothing. This is the same value that you get for this. Not really a whole lot of point. Now it can be good. I'm not saying it's never good. If they're low HP, that's actually pretty solid. So like, you know, they're running away. They're getting away pretty well. You're dashing in, boom, pretty solid, pretty solid. But it's not really that great of engage. You don't really want to do it. You can get into really like weird, freaky situations. Like if this is a tank, you know, you're whirlwinding in, you whirlwind again, boom. Tank could take a lot of damage, or he'll get healed. But it can be okay for this type of situation. But it's really expensive. You're using two portals. You don't want to do that. So, again, this is where that whole thing where you kind of only want to use whirlwind when you're really, really married to something. You really want this damage. So, again, we talked about this before. We're fighting the tank. That's great. We dive their backline. Whirlwind in. Huge. Really big. Really good damage. That's a lot of the time what the use case on it is. Or if you got like people behind you, you know, this is going to be pretty solid too. It's going to hit behind you. If the guy's low, it's going to be nice. But, it's not all that. People are going to use it and they're going to use it wrong. They're going to whiff this. They're going to go in. They're going to try to brawl. Especially with two people here. Just not really that great. You just want to portal away at that point. Super, 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 super duper scary. Just throwing it out there. Now, let's talk about Darkchild. In my opinion, this is somehow the most underrated and overrated ult in the game. There are times whenever I see people glazing the shit out of this ultimate because it does good damage and then they use it wrong and they die. There's times where I see people saying this ult does nothing and you die to animation lock, which is also kind of true. It sucks, but it can be the case in certain situations. I'll see people run in, they'll do this, and they're just going to walk in a straight line at these people, thinking that they're just going to 1v6 the game. It's over. Darkchild's out. The closer is... No, nothing like that. It's not... It's a good ult. It's not that crazy for that kind of situation. Now, what Darkchild is really good at, though, is if you're fighting and you're in there, you know, like you're playing with your tank, you're playing neutral, right? That was weird. You're in there. Say things are going a little south or things are getting a little bit hairy, right? And you're doing pretty decent damage. You know, you're fighting it out. You're tussling, but you use it smart. You go up here. You're popping Darkchild. You get your cooldowns back. Now, if you're playing with your tank, now we're doing some damage. That's pretty good. But then, oh, Darkchild ran out. I'm dead. It sucks. That's the case. Darkchild doesn't have any armor or invincibility when you're coming in or out of it. So it can actually be pretty rough some of the time in these situations because if you're not aware of when your cooldowns are up, you can get yourself killed a lot of the time. You really have to not only be aware of like when your E is up before, so you can kind of float it, make them kind of want to marry this play, go in. Your tank's like, oh man, they're just pushing us back. If you need a game turner, this is pretty good. And then you can go in, do your damage like we talked about. You get your picks at around 2 seconds unless the fight is closed. You need to get out, de-transform, go back in. Same concept, because you get your cooldowns back when you go in and out of it, which is really great. But there's those problems where like the situations will come up, you're leaving or entering, and you're going to take a lot of damage for it. Glad we talked about that. I don't know, just in case people are actually curious about the game plan with Dark Child when you're in it. It's not exactly the type of thing that you're going to go in the middle of 6 people and kill everybody. It can happen. It's not going to happen a lot of the time. Your biggest focus, again, is the squishies. Oftentimes, they can't out-heal what you're doing. The issue is also, normally you need to wait for Luna Snow ult to go, because if they pop Luna Snow ult, you're a fish. You're sitting there. You're killable. They're not killable. You're in trouble. Full stop. Luna Snow ult has to be off the field, or you need to know that they don't have the option to use it quite then. She has to be dead before, and then you can pop it. Mantis is similar. Ironically, Jeff is pretty good. I think that she can be stunned out of Jeff if I'm not... Like, if Jeff eats her, I think that works too, but I might be wrong. Penny Parker, pretty rough as well. Anyway, let's talk about the kind of the maneuverability. We talked earlier about how you want to land your E like on the robot. This one's not exactly the case. You actually just want to go past, because you actually do end up getting the damage on multiple individuals by doing that, which is really, really helpful. But it's pretty straightforward from there. At this point, you're just playing games and you're just trying to get accustomed to and acquainted with the character, which is really, really helpful. I don't think that Magik is some 5-head character that you have to play kind of like Spider-Man is with the mechanics or anything. Hers is not so much mechanically as it is mindset based, I feel, which is really helpful. It actually allows you to think about the game a little bit differently than other dives, which is really, really nice. But it can also put you in really sticky situations, because you can't solo carry with this character if your tank doesn't want to play the video game unless the other team has their screen turned off. So, yeah, no, that's going to be it. Again, we're going to be posting some Magik content on the channel. She's actually the character I've been having the most fun with. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, I'm sorry for my brief coma that I was put into by being sick. But I'm back now. I'm really excited. I'm super duper stoked. I'm having a ton of fun with Marvel.
Ileana Rasputin, aka Magik, is part demon queen, a powerful sorceress, sister to a classic X-Men hero, and one of the stars of 2020's The New Mutants. To learn more about this powerful mutant, let's dig into the untold truth of Magik. When it comes to the New Mutants, most of the classic characters come from the 1982 New Mutants original graphic novel or the ongoing series that follows. Magik, on the other hand, first appears way back in 1975's Giant Size X-Men #1. Giant Size X-Men #1 is a game changer. Many of the most popular modern X-Men are introduced to the X franchise in this 1975 comic book, including Peter Rasputin, aka Colossus. When we meet him on a collective farm in Siberia, he's using his powers to save his unnamed little sister from a runaway tractor. Of course, that little girl will grow up to become the Magik we all know and love. But in this particular tale, Ileana Rasputin has little to do with the story once her brother saves her. Of course, a slightly older Ileana would eventually show up in later issues of Uncanny X-Men and get her own miniseries before joining the Junior X-Men in New Mutants. As for her relationship with Colossus, the two don't get a lot of time to hang out. After all, the siblings are on different teams, embarking on different adventures. Nevertheless, Magik and Colossus have crossed paths multiple times, and they've supported each other through thick and thin. In the beginning of 1982's Uncanny X-Men #160, Ileana Rasputin is 6 years old. By the end of the issue, she's 13, and she's survived more than her brother Colossus knows. It all starts back in 1981's Uncanny X-Men #145, when we learn Miss Locke, employee of the eccentric killer-for-hire Arcade, has kidnapped Ileana Rasputin and others to force Colossus and the X-Men to rescue her employer from the tyrant Dr. Doom. After that adventure is over and Ileana is saved, she's allowed to live with her brother in Charles Xavier's Winchester mansion. But when Uncanny X-Men #160 comes along and the X-Men lock horns with demonic Belasco, Ileana is there to suffer the consequences. Belasco captures Ileana and Kitty Pryde, aka Shadowcat, as part of a plot to free himself from the interdimensional realm Limbo. By the end of the story, the X-Men have saved both Kitty and Ileana, but things don't work out super well for poor Ileana. As the team is being teleported away, Belasco grabs Ileana from her brother's arms and yanks her back into Limbo. Back on Earth, Kitty Pryde quickly reaches back through a portal, grabs Ileana, and pulls her to safety. But Peter's sister is 7 years older than she was on the previous page. It won't be until the 1983 miniseries Magik that we see what happened to Ileana in the interim. With the 1983 miniseries Magik, Ileana became the first New Mutant to get her own solo story, which helped explain what happened to her during those missing 7 years we didn't get to see back in Uncanny X-Men #160. The miniseries begins and ends with Ileana safe at Xavier's Winchester mansion, and the story of her time in Limbo unfolds as a flashback. In these scenes, Ileana is pressed into service of Belasco, who hopes to use her as a means to summon powerful elder gods. In the 7 years she remains in Limbo, Ileana learns much from Belasco, as well as alternate reality versions of X-Men, particularly a duplicate of Storm. In the interim, her mutant ability to create teleportation discs manifests, and the sorcerer skills she learns from Belasco grow powerful enough that she's able to defeat the villain. During the miniseries, we also see her first manifestation as the powerful Soul Sword, as well as the first emergence of the Dark Child. her dark, demonic half. Many mutants are defined by their innate powers, but over the years, Ileana Rasputin has proven so gifted with her magical abilities that it can be easy to forget that she even has a mutant power.
Are you crazy? That thing will kill you!
He's right, it's magic! So am I.
Ileana's mutant power is the ability to create teleportation discs which allow her to teleport herself and others over great distances, and even through time. While most often used for practical purposes like getting her friends out of danger quickly, Ileana is not above using her discs as weapons. In 2019's Uncanny X-Men number 20, for example, she kills the alternate reality mutant Dark Beast by teleporting him so that his head reappears in a ceiling. But Ileana's magical abilities have often proven impressive enough to outshine her mutant powers. Her soul sword and the mystical armor that manifests with it are extremely powerful on their own, particularly against magical targets, and her Dark Child form is extremely formidable. She's the Sorcerer Supreme of Limbo, the same title Doctor Strange wields in Marvel's Home Dimension, and the Eye of Agamotto identifies her as one possible candidate to replace Doctor Strange as Earth's Sorcerer Supreme in 2009's New Avengers number 53. We've already talked about that time when Ileana Rasputin aged 7 years in a single comic, but that isn't the last time fate plays havoc with magic's age. In 1989's New Mutants number 73, as part of the line-wide event Inferno, Ileana has her years in limbo and with the New Mutants taken from her. See, Ileana transforms into her demonic self, the Dark Child, but eventually ascends to what Wolfsbane calls a being of light, or a light child. As a result, Colossus and the New Mutants believe she's dead within her mystical armor until they hear her voice calling for help. Colossus tears the armor open to find her 6-year-old self waiting inside. From that point forward, Ileana remains a child for several years of X-Men stories, until her tragic death in 1993's Uncanny X-Men number 303. A number of rulers in Marvel Comics have double duty as superhero and world leader, and magic also walks that line. However, Ileana has something of a unique responsibility among Marvel's rulers in that she claims control not over a nation or even a world, but the entire dimension of Limbo. Sometimes. It depends. With the help of her demon Lieutenant Sim, Ileana takes control over Limbo from Belasco, but holding on to Limbo continually proves to be a tricky prospect. When your servants are demons, your servants all want your throne, and throughout her time in the New Mutants, Ileana is forced to fight against the rebellious Sim. In 1988's Uncanny X-Men number 231, she unwittingly summons her brother Colossus, who she believes to be dead, to help her fight Sim and his forces. Then Sim allies with another demon to help defeat magic in the 1989 line-wide event Inferno, which helps lead to magic being de-aged to childhood. But even that wasn't the end of the struggle. One of the most recent examples of how tough it is to be a demon queen is in 2013's Uncanny X-Men, when Magic and the X-Men fight off an attempt by the powerful Dormammu and his hordes of mindless ones to take over Limbo. Magic is ultimately forced to, in her words, end Limbo by mystically drawing the dimension into herself and eventually remaking it. You could argue all of us have a so-called dark half, but in the case of Magic, her dark side manifests as a literally separate, destructive being. She's had different names like Dark Soul and Dark Child, but whatever you call it, Ileana's dark self gets closer to the surface the more Ileana uses her magic.
I killed 18 men, one by one.
When she summons her soul sword, for example, usually a magical armor will appear along with it, and the percentage of her body covered by the armor grows steadily as she uses more power. If she wields enough sorcery, she manifests other devil-like physical attributes, like horns sprouting from her forehead and cloven hooves replacing her feet. In spite of its power, the Dark Child often proves to not only be Magic's greatest weakness, but something her enemies can use against her friends. Characters such as the godlike Beyonder and the Asgardian sorceress Enchantress have sometimes managed to force the Dark Child to the surface to use against Magic's allies. And in the case of Enchantress in 1985's New Mutants Special Edition number 1, she physically separated Dark Child from Ileana to remove any and all tempering goodness from the mightier demon half. It isn't until 1984's Magic number 4 that we get to see the very first time Ileana creates her famous Soul Sword as part of a spell she casts to gain vengeance for the death of her friend, the Limbo duplicate of Storm. However, publication-wise, the Soul Sword first appears in 1983's Uncanny X-Men number 171, when Ileana panics as she remembers her experiences in Limbo. Her best friend Kitty Pryde, aka Shadowcat, calms her down, but not before Magic cuts Kitty's cheek, something that shocks Kitty because she was using her phasing power to become intangible at the time. The Soul Sword has since been a staple of Magic stories, and she's rarely seen in battle without it. The sword boosts her mystic might, and wielding it usually summons a powerful accompanying armor. For the most part, the Soul Sword damages creatures of mystic origin, though non-mystical and even intangible characters have also been affected by the blade. Unlike a more physical weapon like Thor's Mjolnir, Magic carries the weapon within herself. The outward appearance of the Soul Sword is always changing. When it first appears, the Soul Sword doesn't look particularly unique, but in more recent years, the sword has grown in size until its massive girth looks more like what you'd expect Cloud to be swinging in Final Fantasy VII. For close to a decade, the mutant-killing legacy virus rampaged through Marvel's mutant population, and the first hero to succumb to the illness was Ileana Rasputin. Having been reverted to the age of 6 by the end of 1989's New Mutants number 73, Magik is still a little girl when she grows ill. Attempts are made to cure her, but nothing bears fruit. With Jubilee by her bedside, Ileana's life slips away in the emotional story of 1993's Uncanny X-Men number 303. In the wake of her death, Colossus briefly leaves the X-Men and joins forces with Magneto, and the ironclad hero eventually sacrifices himself to eradicate the virus that killed his sister in 2001's Uncanny X-Men number 390. Of course, both Ileana and her brother eventually return to the land of the living because no one really stays dead in superhero comics.
Uncle Ben, Uncle Ben! Call an ambulance! Someone call an ambulance! Uncle Ben, Uncle Ben! Oh God, oh my God.
Well, almost no one. Hostilities break out between two of Marvel's most beloved teams in 2012's line-wide event and accompanying miniseries Avengers vs. X-Men. The feud is all over the impending return of the destructive Phoenix Force. In an attempt to stop the entity, the Avengers inadvertently disperse it between 5 mutants: Cyclops, Emma Frost, Namor, Colossus, and Magik, who become known as the Phoenix Five. At first, the Five seem to want to use their new godlike powers only to help the world, but eventually their newfound might corrupts them. Magik and Colossus work hand in hand as part of the Phoenix Five, both before and after they turn their attention to destroying the Avengers. Unsurprisingly, considering her darker leanings, Magik proves just a bit more committed to their course. In Avengers vs. X-Men number 7, she tries but fails to murder Scarlet Witch. 2 issues later, both she and her brother lose their power after beating Spider-Man nearly to death. At first, they begin arguing because Magik is annoyed at her brother's hesitance toward killing Spidey, and that's when Peter Parker uses the opportunity to provoke them both. As a result, Magik and Colossus strike each other, driving the Phoenix Force out of both their bodies in the process. After the event, which eventually includes the death of Professor X at Cyclops' hands, Ileana doesn't seem particularly remorseful over her involvement. She joins Cyclops, Emma Frost, and Magneto in their fugitive team of X-Men. For a long time, the question of Magik's sexuality has been up in the air. She rarely, if ever, has shown interest in romance, leaving some fans to theorize she might be asexual. When Marvel's X-books were revived in 2019, though, it included a revival of New Mutants. And in 2020's New Mutants number 5, Ileana seems to be, like fellow Marvel hero Deadpool, pansexual. As the New Mutants confront the Shi'ar Death Commandos, Magik takes on 3 of them all on her own. But before fighting them, she asks each one of them whether or not they want to make out with her. Whether the scene was mostly comedic or a glimpse at Magik's deeper feelings, it definitely seems that Magik is open to a lot of possibilities. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite superheroes
Better listen. I know not what I do. I knew you'd follow, Scott. I do not want to fight you, comrade. I don't want to fight you either. I want you to fight for me. I am Ella!
right heroes could make all the difference.
What? Are you ready to hunt?
Me? Just a demon-haunted mutant girl out to save the universe.
They'll be coming in 30 seconds. Stay strong.
I try to do the right thing, but people always end up thinking I'm crazy.
I know exactly how you feel.
I mean, it's not my fault an Egyptian god whispers in my brain and tells me who deserves his righteous vengeance.
Okay, so maybe not exactly.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have to stop them from securing the mission area.
You don't know me. A shame. But you will.
Time for some swords begins. Explosive spiders, watch out!
Help is here. Let me have.
That's what I needed.
My soul is stubborn. Charge! Okay, I see.
The keyholes break real nice. Someone scratch my back.
Just in time. Thanks.
My life energy grows stronger.
Have soul sword. We'll travel. Charge!
Ready to fight. You better get a look behind you.
You need to stop that vehicle in its tracks.
I got you! Just in time. Thanks.
Better stop that vehicle.
I'm just tired.
Powering up. We are undefeatable.
I climbed out of limbo. The charge! Go have fun! I got you!
Stop them. Better stop that vehicle.
Limbo doesn't let go that easy.
Someone scratch my back. Scared?
There's still a chance to stop them.
Again! 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 Again!
Maximum pulse!
Again!
You don't
here. Feeling stronger already. I climbed out of
You
limbo.
stopped them in their
This
tracks.
is nothing.
Leave them to consume.
Chin up. Powering up.
Ow! That fucking hurt!
Limbo doesn't let go that easy.
Sorry, no wonks for you.
Just in time. Thanks. May Khonshu show you mercy.
The spiders are after me. You stopped them in their tracks.
Come, my minion.
Your shiny face.
We are undefeatable.
Okay, the spider nest is gone.
I got you.
Coming from me, chin up.
All eyes on these coordinates. Moon Knight dropped one of his toys.
The moon haunts you.
The perfect hex.
Leave them to consume.
Found one of those soldiers.
Maximum pulse.
It's spider time!
Chin up.
Powering up. I'm counting on you, friend. They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them. Better stop that vehicle. The perfect hex. We are undefeatable! He stopped them in their tracks. My anger is he stopped them in their tracks.
Team play. That's me.
I broke the arm.
Leave them to
It's spider time!
If you see my brother, tell him I miss him.
You know what to do, spiders? Better stop that vehicle! Friends, it's now or never! Stop them! 60 seconds left.
You're welcome.
On here. Step carefully. Stop them in their tracks. I need assistance. We are undefeatable. Hit. I got you. Down to 30 seconds.
Maximum!
I feel your pain. Limbo doesn't let go that easy. Survive this!
A disappearing act.
She stopped them in their tracks. The final 10 seconds.
Survive this!
Okay, the spider nest is gone.
Another epic victory. Big win! You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
I have mutant powers, and a little demonic magic too. You know, I grew up in a demonic dimension.
You cannot save Yggdrasil, nor
30
can
seconds
you
before
save
you attack.
yourselves.
Get ready.
When I see someone with powers like yours, I think, wow. I mean, how can I compare?
Don't compare.
Fools.
You just spread
Do you
your
truly believe you can stop my grand scheme?
now. A disappearing.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Help get that vehicle to its destination. Get ready. Here come the bad guys. Survive
Long
this.
has Yggdrasil protected us.
In time.
Now we must save the world's ring.
I totally rocked that.
Double KO.
Back from limbo. Charge!
Help, friends. You're halfway there. Keep going.
Survive this!
Let me help.
Just in time. Thanks. Charge!
Please, we're hurt.
Come, my minion!
Get that vehicle moving again. They got behind you.
Go have fun!
Woo! You go, girl. Double KO.
I was in trouble.
Let's mess this place up real good.
The vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Twas but a scratch. My vigor returns.
Have soul sword. We'll travel.
A little help, please.
Come on. Thor's power will have faded by the time we get. Now's my chance.
Leave them to you.
Go have fun.
Shake it up.
I climbed out of limbo.
Maximum pulse!
You're halfway there. Keep going.
I'm more dangerous.
A little help, please.
Someone scratch my back.
Got you covered. I climbed out of limbo. This is nothing. Charge!
Back up on it.
Limbo! Focus, you flow. Chin up. Just in time. Thanks.
Goddess of nature.
Tree and get this over with. Vengeance is served.
Almost there. Don't turn back now. Vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum. I need assistance. I appreciate you. Hostile ahead.
I climbed out of limbo. This is not. Charge!
On tooth gnash. On tooth grinder.
Now's my chance.
Leave them to consume.
Happy to help. My
Friends, gather around.
Hurricane incoming!
That's it. Don't let anything stand in your way.
Maximum pulse!
I got you. Focus on the battle. Pick your hero. Or villain. I'm not judging.
I have mutant powers. And a little demonic magic, too. You know, I grew up in a demonic dimension.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Your idealism refreshes a battered old soul.
You can't be that old.
Astral projection makes me feel old.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Go have fun! Lynn and Val are gonna be so sad they missed this.
I have 10
Go have fun!
Prepare to do this. I have not seen so many spiders since.
Just in time. There's an honor to serve alongside you.
So cold. Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now. Capture the mission area.
More than you learn. My soul is stubborn. Survive this! Explosive spiders, watch out!
I'll patch you up.
Haha, back from limbo! Survive this!
Tandy needs help.
Their team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
Destroy that net! I got you!
This is real firepower!
Limbo doesn't let go that easy.
They've almost got it!
Charge!
Shields up!
Us against the world!
Limbo!
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
I unleash the Vishanti's power!
Go have fun! These little robots may be a problem.
Fire mode!
When things get tense, the dark child tends to come out.
Seconds before you attack. Get ready.
So, you commune with ancient gods once in a blue moon, right, Doc?
On occasion. But to serve as one's avatar must be exhausting.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't comment. Khonshu is always listening.
Perhaps a divine...
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1! All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
I got you! My brother and I are about as different as we could be. Come, my minion! Hostiles
Here is
coming in
an
fast!
enemy to pursue.
Come, my minion!
This is gonna hurt.
Explosive spiders! Watch out!
Capture the mission area!
I got you! Come, my minion! Have fun!
Lights out.
Explosive spiders! Watch out! I got you!
This is real firepower!
Spider mode! It's spider time!
Just in time. Thanks.
Past the halfway point.
Is nothing. Survive
Loki
this!
gone?
Come, my
Surely he'll
minion!
be back.
They've almost got it!
Not bad for a trickster.
Have soul sword. We'll travel.
I am
I got you!
us against the world.
Hey, I think the Dog King is the doctor. You'll have to keep fighting until you're clear. Well, you can't expect to win them all. Pick your hero. Or villain. I'm not judging.
I have mutant powers. And a little demonic magic, too. Me? Just a demon-haunted mutant girl out to save
30
the
seconds
universe.
before you attack. Get ready.
Look at you, glimmering like a golden sun. Khonshu wouldn't like you one bit.
Believe it or not, I have a dark side. Or at least I did. Until I expelled it, and it became its own being.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Perhaps I should have stayed in my cocoon a bit longer.
Go have fun!
Surrender your strength. On your toes, here they come.
None of you summoned down anymore.
I squished those
friends.
This time I need healing.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
There is an enemy to pursue.
Mutant kind will be better off. Come, my minion! Charge! It's an octopus party, and we're all
Capture the mission area.
That is much better.
You're not rid of me yet.
On your
You
toes.
are a beacon of hope, Mantis. Your light will live on.
I was in trouble.
Your attacks are futile.
Some assistance.
Looks like Namor brought in his own creepy army.
Oh, I need assistance. Your team's capture progress is past the halfway point.
Watch your back.
Come, my minion!
What vile creatures Namor has summoned?
Disappear! Come, my minion!
Monstro are no more.
I was in trouble.
Assemble!
Go have fun!
Friends, gather around. We are undefeatable! They've almost got it!
Soul Sword will travel. I got you!
For mutant kind!
I am ready to put on a show! I need assistance.
I was in trouble. My soul remains noble as my sword stays bright.
Seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Fancy seeing you off the island, old man.
I hope you brought your legions with you, Ilyana.
Demons? I never leave home without them.
Good, for the time has come to fight fire with hellfire.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1! All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
This twisted metal in ways it is in the interest of all mutants that we succeed this day, and so we shall.
Survive this!
Our foes have arrived. I require some aid.
I feel like myself again.
Creatures forced into this the mission area is yours to capture now.
Rid of me yet.
We captured the mission area!
I am Groot!
Survive this!
Your attacks are...
Behold that child!
Name all subjects are tenacious.
Maximum pulse!
I like the cold.
Some assistance, please. Our enemies are here.
Have soul sword. We'll travel.
I'm never going back to one of those again.
They will strike, and I suspect it will be soon.
Control lost!
I got you!
Octopus down.
Limbo!
My thanks.
I was in trouble.
Born again!
Capture progress has passed the halfway point.
This is over. I don't hold grudges. I end.
You're not rid of. Survive this!
Again!
This soul sword feeds.
You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going. I am ready to put on a show. Control lost.
Next time, I got you.
Oh, mutant kind!
Just in time. Thanks.
I am Groot! Insignificant gnats. More tentacles than Gargantuan could come.
Limbo doesn't let go. That survive this!
Please with me to be helpful.
This time I need healing.
Charge!
These beasts must belong to me.
I was in trouble.
Let's keep fighting until we have a winner. Friends, gather around.
Disappear!
Maximum pulse!
Behold that child! Behold that child!
My power knows no limits.
My soul is stubborn. Charge!
Rise, my friend!
Pentagram of horror.
Assemble!
And I thought Stand down!